I guess I'd be lying if I said I didn't get any sleep. I tried to stay awake all night, but there was definitely gaps in my memory. I guess I kept nodding off and jerking awake in a panic all night. I spent all night hugging the metal bat and sat on top of the futon I used to barricade my door. Oh god, he's really lost it. Waiting, watching, just in case someone tried to break in through my window. Is it on the second floor though? Oh, overlay. Oh, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm sorry. Ah. Please change. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. You only lost like. This is all you missed. Whew, that was close. Good job. I have chat up. Have you seen that? It was a few years ago. I think it was on like live stream fails, and somebody did like a 24-hour stream or something. Without chat, and he basically just had a black screen the entire time, and he was just streaming like normally, like he would like normally do for like 12 hours, but he could like the stream was just black because he wasn't reading chat. If I left the spot, someone would break through the door, sending the futon flying and attack me. But if I stopped watching the window, someone would break through the glass and attack me. I tried telling myself I was just being paranoid, but I couldn't sleep. The thought of being so vulnerable scared the living daylights out of me. If sleep meant taking that risk, I didn't need it. Oh god, he's refusing to sleep now. Oh no. It was so much better to just stay awake. Yes, I agree. At some point during that endless cycle of nodding off and jolting away, light began to shine outside, but that was it. It wasn't so much the morning as it was just the sun simply having risen. I snuck a peek out through the curtains. Raina was gone. I couldn't see her anywhere, no matter how hard I looked. Finally, I could breathe a deep sigh of relief. The night was finally over. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tired, but I didn't feel like sleeping at the moment. I still had time, but I needed to make my own breakfast, so I'd better get started soon. Skipping school was also an option. With my mum gone, it'd be easy to play hooky. Honestly, I debated it. The risk involved in leaving my house was incalculable, so staying holed up in here was probably my safest option. But staying here wouldn't solve anything. Don't you just love it when fucking fireworks are right outside? Yeah, I know. There's fireworks like quite near my house as well. It's still not the 5th. Still not the 5th. I'm so tilted. Come on, it's gonna be mental tomorrow night. Urishi-san wouldn't. Oh, that's actually when I really need to sleep as well tomorrow night. God damn it. Urishi-san wouldn't help me without cold, hard evidence. Neither he nor my parents. So unless I found some sort of proof, these relentless nights would never end. I stretched my body, tilted my head back, and closed my eyes just like I did every morning. Put on your anonymous mask. They're like on top of the fucking house. Jesus Christ. Okay, mine aren't that close. I can hear like the popping of them, but they felt like it was something hitting my window. It wasn't like ridiculously loud though. I regulated my breathing and regained my senses. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. Let's go to school. Let's wait until they set their trap for me, but that didn't mean I was just going to twiddle my thumbs. I needed to avoid that trap and secure irrefutable evidence. Take note of the plates of any car that drives by. If I see someone suspicious, check their clothes and face. I wasn't just protecting myself, I was preparing myself to turn their attack against them and retaliate. The Blitz in 2017, oh god. The tension was similar to when two samurai were both aiming to slay each other with a single motion as they drew their katanas. I was not at a disadvantage. I would have a chance to retaliate. I finally felt a bit of courage growing in my chest. Alright, let's go to school. He's a lunatic. I tightened my grip on Satoshi's bat. He was the only partner I could count on. a dead person. Satoshi, please lend me your strength. And entrust your dying regrets to me, since you were probably murdered. I'll make sure I dispel them. With renewed resolve, I checked the clock. It was still early. Of course, I was going to school by myself today. If I didn't want to run into Reina or Mion, I needed to leave now. Or leave after they go to school. I don't think she would wait around if that meant her being late. The shattered fragments of the cupboard were still strewn across the entryway. Right, I meant to clean that up last night, but never got around to it, the phone call and everything, and you know, like crushing her fingers in the door, all that shit. Oh, there's gonna be blood like all that down the door, isn't there? He said she wasn't anywhere to be seen. If my parents came back and saw this while I was at school, I would never hear the end of it. Still, I'd be wasting time if I cleaned it up right now, and considering what would happen if I ran into Reina or Mion, it wouldn't be too late to clean it up after I got back home. Making extra certain that the doors were locked, I left the house. My uniform was still covered in mud from yesterday, so I left it in the washer. Today I was going to go to school in a tracksuit. By wearing a different outfit this morning, my mind was forced to accept that today was different from yesterday. I had a hunch. Today might be the day I get killed. Keep your guard up, Keiichi Maebara. The only one who gets to decide if today is my last is me. Debatable. She's hiding. I mean, it doesn't look like it. Oh god. Swing, swing. I spent the morning practicing my swing like it was my natural routine. After a while, Reina arrived at school. Our eyes met, but we said nothing. Reina said nothing about last night, as if it never happened. But I could see that those events were real by the wounds carved into her fingers. I just heard her telling Satoko and the others that the bandages were from hurting herself in the kitchen. Though it wasn't like it bothered me. The details that Riichi-san shared about Reina's incidents before her transfer played vividly in my mind. Now that I knew about it, I couldn't even dream of Reina as a cute, ideal girl. Okay, get this. I will walk towards them and count how many steps from my finish. Okay. Kei-chan, I see you're still aiming for the nationals. It was Mion. I had already sensed her approach, so I wasn't that surprised. Oh, Mion, if you understand, then leave me alone. I'm busy practicing. I gave her a curt reply without my usual jokes. Then I gave the bat an even larger swing, tactically keeping Mion from getting any closer. Hey, Kei-chan, take it easy. I think Mion got the message, but she still urged me to give it a rest. Homeroom's not that far off, is it? Just let me finish practicing. 12 steps. I swung the bat even harder as a sign of my refusal. Kei-chan, when did you get into baseball? Just recently. Recently? You mean yesterday? Don't ask if you already know. True that, true that. Oh dear, that's a very unsportsmanlike reply. You're distracting me. Please fuck off. I ignored Vion as I kept swinging. Swing, swish, swing. Normally she'd get mad or bored and leave as someone gave her the cold shoulder like this, but Mion just stood there waiting patiently for me to stop swinging. I didn't sense any hostility, but we were still at school in plain view. I doubt she'd suddenly attack me here. Or was that too naive? Still, I was starting to get tired. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad to take a break and hear her out. No, don't give in. You need me for something, right? What is it? Sweat poured from me as I stopped swinging. I noticed my shoulders were heaving as I breathed. I cursed my lack of exercise. At this rate, I might not be able to move as needed when the time came. I should probably keep practicing my swings to build stamina in addition to the excuse for carrying the bat around with me. Well, it's nothing important. If you're tired, I can ask again later. Now it's fine. I'm only dealing with you right now because I judge the situation to be safe. Talking to you alone and away from others, that's out of the question. Well, Mion was uncharacteristically trying to choose her words, but unlike Riichi-san, it didn't look like she was going to talk about something I'd rather not hear. Mion was puzzled, trying to find the right thing to say, but then she gave a hearty laugh and break herself out of that mire. This old man's just no good at this stuff. Having a poor vocabulary hurts. Same dude, same. What's this all of a sudden? If you have something to say, just say it. Oh boy. Stop it. Stop that swinging. She cut straight to the point. Her request was so frank, I didn't understand it for a moment. I had already stopped swinging to listen to her, hadn't I? I just stopped, didn't I? That's not what I meant. I want today today to be the last day you swing that bat. I'm sorry. It took me some time to understand what she was asking for. What's wrong with swinging a bat? Why? It's none of your business, is it? I'm not bothering anyone, am I? You are. Mion said it flat out. This didn't make any sense, and that was really irritating. When did I bother anybody? Mion was at a loss for words, but she finally made up her mind and spoke, though she stuttered as she said it. Because Kei-chan, that's someone else's bat. You shouldn't borrow it without permission. It was left behind by a student who transferred, right? I'm just borrowing it until he comes back for it. Yeah, he transferred. Mion grew uncharacteristically flustered. That made it all too clear that his transfer was a lie. But strange, isn't it, for the older brother to transfer by himself while his little sister stayed behind. Mion couldn't hide her reaction as my words shook her up. Kei-chan, you knew? Satoshi Huju. Satoko's older brother, right? The one demoned away last year. Unable to respond to that, Mion fell silent. Reina asked the same thing. Why did you start swinging that bat? She told me Satoshi did the same thing, practicing his swings, right before he went missing. Sweat counter 3. She told me Satoshi did the same thing, practicing his swings right before he went missing. So is that some kind of omen for Oyashiro-sama's curse? Shh! Mion panicked and looked away. Please, Kei-chan, don't mention Oyashiro-sama so recklessly. I don't believe in him, but the others very much do. Reina especially. Dangerously so? Anyway, you're scaring everyone. If you're just fooling around, then stop it. You have to stop acting like Satoshi. I was the one who was scared. Who do I have to thank for taking up this bat in the first place? But it still unsettled me knowing that my actions were overlapping with Satoshi's. It would be one thing if someone suggested it, but I thought I was making my own decisions. I'll say this now, I don't know anything about Satoshi. After all, you didn't tell me anything about him. We didn't mean to hide it. You were hiding the incidents that happen every year, weren't you? Yes, that's because we didn't want to, you didn't want to scare me? That's your reason for leaving me out? No, we didn't mean to. Mion, I asked you directly if something happened at the dam, didn't I? And you told me nothing happened. When someone was dismembered and murdered, you lied to me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie to you. Friends don't hide things from others, right? Isn't that right? Then you all aren't my friends. Kei-chan, Mion looked helpless and flustered. Was I imagining the tears in her eyes? I never could have imagined Mion acting like this. Oh, by the way, those get well mochi you bought the other day, they were good. I thought I was going to bleed. Who did it? You or Reina? Me. She admitted it so easily. I couldn't help but be surprised at how easy that was. You could have killed me. How could you do that to a friend? But it was just a little prank. Just a prank, bro. It's just a prank. Mion gave me a worried smile mixed with confusion, causing even more angry to well up inside me. You think that was a prank? Just a prank, bro. Camera's over there, dude. I grabbed Mion by the collar and lifted her out. That wasn't the same as putting Tabasco sauce in a piece of mochi. It was a needle, a sewing needle. If I had swallowed that and it lodged in my throat, what did she think would happen? Mion's face froze as her body rattled in fear. This wasn't the Mion Sonozaki I knew anymore. Anyways, you're not my friend. There's no reason for me to listen to anyone who's not my friend. Shoot my friend in the head. Prank. Yeah. Those pranks are so shitty when you're like pretending to like you're dead. That shit's like too far. So just leave me alone for a while. Got it? Mion wasn't replying anymore. It won't be that easy to erase me, you know. The cops have been onto you from the start. Oh shit, he's like telling her everything. So don't think you can make me disappear like you did Satoshi. I said it clearly. This was my declaration of war. I think you guys are suspects in the previous incidents too. I also know you spent a lot of time with the cops ever since the anti-dam movement. Don't think you can hide it from me. Got that? How did you know? Mion stood there with a dumbstruck look on her face. That was when I heard the principal ringing the bell for school. It was time for morning homeroom. Let's go. The class representative needs to be there, right? Yeah, there is. There's like 7 more main ones, and then 2 spin-offs. You'll see how this all works. By that message, you haven't realized what the whole scope of the thing is, which is totally fine. I don't think you're really supposed to, but we'll see. I've been deliberately avoiding one certain word. But if you do realize, don't point it out. At that moment, for the first time, I realized Mion was sobbing as tears ran down her cheeks. You're so mean, Kei-chan. I think you're on the right lines, but don't say anything. I wanted to console her, but I shut my mouth. I had no need to feel guilty. I'm going. Don't be late for homeroom. I left Mion still shaken as I turned around to head for the entrance. I had no idea how troubling it was to make a girl cry. Behind my back, I could hear her muttering. Behind my back, I could. It was a faint mutter as she was speaking to herself. So that's how it is, huh? She wasn't saying it to anyone. It was Mion talking to herself, but it was a sobbing voice that had a kind of giddy cursing tone. Basically, if I answered that question, it would be spoiling like the entirety of the whole thing. So I'm not going to do that. Also, try not to spoil it for yourself if you go Googling and stuff. But it was a sobbing voice that had a kind of giddy cursing tone. I inadvertently stopped and turned back towards her. So it was that bastard. He leaked it all to Kei-chan. She balled up her fist, and her tears continued to rain down. She glared at a spot on the ground with a terrifying yet smiling face, cursing. A chill ran down my spine from that demonic expression. This transformation, Mion's transformation, was different from Reina's. I should have killed him back then. He forgot the mercy I showed him just because he was going to retire this year. Oh boy. Retiring this year. Was she talking about Uishi-san? Yes, she's obviously talking about Uishi-san. Come on, dude. Damn it, I'm going to kill that damn old man. It felt like the air itself had begun distorting. With Mion at the center, the world had begun to twist and spiral, bending. It's quite rare that like I am one step ahead of the main character. It's quite a nice feeling. Maybe because I'm actually reading it and paying full attention. Bending, whirling. This was the first time I'd experienced such a visage. Shut up, right? I know there's a sprite for it. Well, I think there's a sprite for it. Sprite for who? Rise. Attention. Mion made up an for Mion. Oh, what the evil Mion? Let me have a look. I don't think there's anything too bad. There's a lot here. Let's have a look. So she would be in a wait. Not that one. Not that one. The closest is like this one, I think. Oh boy, I just closed it. There's that one, but that's not really evil. That's just a bit angry. I don't think there's any Reina level spooky face. No, it was just the first one where her eyes go a little bit faded, but it's not. That doesn't mean look like totally demented. Yeah. Mion made up an excuse for her red eyes by saying there was something wrong with her contacts. After that, neither Reina nor Mion spoke to me for the rest of the day. Neither Satoko nor Rika-chan looked me in the eye. Problem with this, I only put like the gif in the top right because it's just like everybody's seen that gif. But if it was like as hush hush as like Doki Doki was, then I wouldn't have put that there. But the problem is, it was. I mean, it's like what, 11 years old. The game's like 15 years old. It's not good. All this stuff isn't gonna like keep a lid on it. So well, you live under a rock, right? But you've probably like, even if you don't know what it was from, when stuff does happen or you see some clips, you're like, oh, it's from this. That makes sense now, kind of thing. Strangely, I didn't feel hurt. Everything had just went back to the way it was. The month since I transferred in has been almost too much fun. That was all. School was supposed to be something like this to begin with. I should have disliked that feeling, but today it felt oddly refreshing. The bell rung, sounding the end of the monotonous school day, which had felt so tense yet so dull. Since it would cause a lot of unpleasant memories if they asked me to join into the club activities, I promptly started preparing to go home without even looking at them. I knew what it's from because that green haired motherfucker, whatever her name was, me on, yeah. I stuffed the contents on my desk into my bag, wrapped my hand around Satoshi's now familiar bat, and began heading towards the entrance, where there's a sink for some reason. I was assailed by both the exhausting relief that nothing had happened today, and the tiring possibility of the same thing repeating tomorrow. But deep down inside me, far beneath in the recesses of my heart, achingly, I knew this would be the last day of the cycle. I couldn't tell how the ending would be. He doesn't know, he's just guessing. I couldn't tell how the ending would be, whether it would end as I wished it to end, or if it would end as I hoped it wouldn't. Regardless, in my current state, there was something more important than how things would end. There was something I wanted to know. Why did I have to be killed? Why did it have to come to this? Why? For what purpose? The sunlight was relentless. The sun, the heat, even the air. They wouldn't give me my answers. Or could it be that the cries of the Higurashi were desperately trying to tell me something? Somewhere, mixed in with their shrieks, Tomitaki-san and Satoshi were all probably trying to tell me something. I simply haven't been able to realise it yet. When I do realise it, I wonder if I'll be amongst the Higurashi fruitlessly crying the next crying to the next victim. Glancing down at my feet, I saw a Higurashi on its back, spasming weakly. Bwee, 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 bwee. There was still, that sounds like a Pokemon or something. There was still much of the summer left, yet this one was already chirping its last song. I couldn't tell what it was saying, no matter how hard I listened. Okay, that's like foreshadowing to the max. But I had to try. I had to try to listen to what it was desperately trying to tell me. He's just looking at like what's it called, a cicada, like, tell me the answers. At that moment, the shrills of the Higurashi ceased all at once, as if they had huddled together, fearing that the person who'd brought them to their dreadful fate had arrived. It'd be really... I can't remember how this one ends, or how this part ends, but it's either gonna be, it could be like really funny. It's really hard to say nothing because I kind of know the story and you guys don't. There was no mistaking it. A presence was approaching. The sound of footsteps was also almost non-existent. If the Higurashi hadn't warned me by ending their chirping, I wouldn't have noticed. Short of the throat falling down the stairs. Yeah, umbrella through the neck. That's how he's gonna die. My exhaustion left me in a heartbeat. In its place was a rush of adrenaline that sharpened all of my senses. I was just barely able to hold back that creeping, suffocating feeling of horror. It wasn't something I could hold back for long. But in this moment, when I needed to be razor sharp, I was able to retain my composure. Internet, please. I wasn't going to shout like I did yesterday. I hid myself calmly amongst the trees, waiting for my pursuer's shadow. Could I get them to pass by me? No, since I was able to hear their footsteps, they were probably also able to hear mine. They might have already been able to tell that I'd hidden myself and was holding my breath. The person tailing me, was it Reina? Just like yesterday? If it was Reina, I wouldn't hold back. I could just yell at her and make her go ahead like yesterday. Yeah, because that didn't end badly at all. If it wasn't Reina, it would depend on how they acted, I guess. The footsteps ambled closer. Oh, it's Rika chat. Hi, Rika. I swallowed, wiped my clammy hands on my pants. Okay, on my short. I think he wears shorts. Yeah. And readjusted the grip on the bat. I could tell that the fear that I had beaten back once was now waiting for another opening to come at me. Who could it be? I peeked out from behind the tree at the person following me. Oh no! It's Raina again. Death by Lolly. What a fate. My imagination hadn't led me astray. It was Raina. There was a bit of relief as I realised it was someone I knew, but that feeling left me in an instant. This wasn't the same Raina that I knew. There she is! Her eyes were dark and lifeless, but her mouth appeared as if it was carved into a crescent. Yeah, a crescent, yes. It looked like she was grinning slightly. And in her right hand was an axe. Oh shit! Oh shit! I hid myself behind the tree once again and recalled the unimaginable sight I just saw. I saw the word saw. I thought he's making a pun on like the Saw franchise. So guys, what was that just now? The embodiment of terror laid bare. Baseball, practicing my swing. There was tons of excuses for me to be carrying a bat, but for that axe, well, there was clearly like another Colonel Sanders he was gonna rescue, right? There was no excuse for that. An axe, just like that. Keiji-kun, are you playing hide and seek? I wonder. My heart was pounding, hard enough that I had trouble breathing. What little composure I had been able to hold on to was now crushed. In its place, cold sweat gushed forth, covering my entire body. Hey, sweat count of 4. Just links her. Why she has that. Just links her why she has that. Oh, okay. That sentence confused me completely. Oh, I didn't even see Riot said it before. Oh, okay. It's where the fencing classes fail. Was what little composure I had been able to hold on to was now crushed. In its place, cold sweat gushed forth, covering my entire body, letting me know precisely what kind of emotion had taken hold. Not good. Not good. I wasn't able to hide myself completely. She already knew I was here. Were you trying to scare me, I wonder? I decided that it would be better to reveal myself now, since there was still space between us, than to allow Raina to come any closer. I adjusted my grip on the bat, readying myself mentally, and stepped out from behind the tree. I feel like axe beats baseball bat. I'm not sure. Do you understand it all? Wow, that's impressive. I found you, Keiji-kun. Rain was pleased that she found me, eliciting a mysterious giggle. Her mouth was smiling, but her eyes told me she was displeased by the fact that I had been hiding. Maybe. I think that would like completely knock it out your hands though. Those eyes, they were so empty. My legs began to quiver. Oh, come on. She's been like this like 4 times before. You should be used to it by now. Not good. In the pit of my stomach, some sort of viscous hot and cold substance began spreading around. If I allowed it, then that substance would slip into my bloodstream and undoubtedly freeze all the organs in my body. Not good. Not good. I'll be devoured by Raina at this rate. Oh, is she like a cannibal now? Okay. Strike back. Don't lose. What is it? I blustered, hiding behind my bravado. But Raina didn't flinch one bit. Just the same as Keiichi-kun. I'm heading home. Then what about that axe? Then what about the bat you're holding? I'm practicing my swing. Then I'm treasure hunting. Oh god. Raina gave a flippant explanation as to why she had such a fearsome weapon. Treasure hunting? At the treasure mountain near the dam site, I found a new cute thing, so I needed to dig it out. Oh yeah, I was just making a joke, but this is basically what she's saying. How could I believe that? You wouldn't believe it, would you? Raina's laugh was obviously very strange. Yeah, it was a bit strange. Sorry. I'd seen Raina's transformation many times before, but the one today was completely different. Like her mischievous tone and the shrewd glint in her eyes. It wasn't something that roundabout. I'm not sure what to say. It was just so obvious. Wait, Keiichi-kun. Reina didn't start walking, even as she let out that eerie laugh. Whenever Reina got too close to me, I would scurry away and turn back towards her. This cycle repeated over and over. No matter how you looked at it, I was being chased by Reina and was trying to escape. Don't follow me. I can't do that. My house is this way after all. When I met with Reina on the road yesterday, she cowered and trembled as she followed my command. But today was different. Reina didn't show a hint of trepidation. I'm her bitch now. Oh my god, I thought Dark Cetaphil was in your... What? I don't know what that is. This is where yeah, same. I would too. I'll have another go in the second one, but I don't expect much. I don't know, because I'd still be reading all the internal monologue, which is probably like 40% of the text anyway, so I guess it wouldn't really matter if all the actual dialogue was voiced. I'll have another go. I feel like it's going to be the same result though. Actually, wasn't I the one who was cowering? In the way home from Reina, and me was the same. That's fine. I just changed my route. That would work out, wouldn't it? I turned onto a side street I'd never been down and knew little about. But Reina saw me do that and followed me while laughing. Why? Aren't you going home? Just go home the street you normally do. Why would you follow me down this weird little side road? Those thoughts screamed in my head, eventually spilling out of my mouth. Why are you following me? The tone of my voice was already tinged with terror. Because I want to talk to Keiichi-kun. it would... The way I... Okay. Thanks for that. See, the problem is, I'm not sure if they used the same voice actors in the game as they did the anime, but the anime voice acting is awful, especially Reina. Her voice is really like high pitched and annoying. So it would almost be like it would hurt to just listen to it for like hours upon end. We'll see. But Reina's the only one that's kind of going mental. Like Mion didn't really. She was like getting a bit angry and suspicious, but she wasn't like transforming as such. There's been a few different like releases of it. So there was like, it was originally on like PC, I think, with the shitty sprites, the legacy sprites. Then it was on PS2 with like voice acting, and PS3, and then when it came to Steam, then they kind of like stripped it away, but they updated the art, so this art looks better, but then they removed the voice acting. You can patch it in, but I can figure out how to do it. I was following the instructions, but it wasn't working, so I don't know what to do. And then the backgrounds randomly broke one day, and I had to reinstall it and shit, so I guess it didn't seem like, because they weren't showing it, it didn't seem like it was too important though. Keiichi-kun wants to talk to Reina, doesn't he? I don't want to talk about anything with you. That's a lie, isn't it? There's something you want to ask me about, isn't there? Not at all. I have nothing to talk to you about. That's a lie, isn't it? It's not a lie. Lies! Oh, I predid it, yeah. Wait, let me get up. Where is it? Lies! Oh shit. Oh, what did I close? Oh. Never mind, I just opened Discord. She has to go Super Saiyan. Raina's scream echoed, startling some nearby birds into flight. I cringed in fear. The only thing I could do now was increase my pace. What? rip new background. What happened there? Let's talk, Keiichi-kun. Talk. Why was I running down this unfamiliar and deserted street? Doesn't Keiichi-kun have something he's worried about? Nothing at all. I'm not worried about anything. Lies! Even though I was running, even though Reina was walking, why wasn't I getting any further away? I know. I really do know. You're scared, aren't you, Keiichi-kun? I like how I literally said, like a minute ago, the background's broke, and then it broke the next scene. Are you kidding me? I'm just gonna say, I don't mind if it's okay, what the hell? This is, oh god, Doki Doki's happening. Oh no, look at it. Oh no, what's it doing? It's broke. I'm actually scared. If it breaks like now, I'm gonna scream. Oh my god, why is it doing this? Just Monica. Yeah. Oh hey, Papan. Just Yuri. Just Reina. You're scared, aren't you, Keiichi-kun? I'm not scared. I'm not scared of anything. Lies. Oh, back to normal. We good, boys. I guess they just didn't want to bother making a new background for like literally 3 lines. Makes sense. No, quite lazy. They could have reused something. I mean, does it really matter? My breathing grew heavy and it felt like my legs were giving out from beneath me. Reina wasn't even breaking a sweat. I'll listen. Wait, who's saying that? Oh, I'll listen. This time I'll listen. I had no idea what she was talking about or what exactly she wanted to do. This time I'll listen. It will be different from the time with Satoshi-kun. When she said Satoshi's name, I turned back for a moment. But even as I did that, Reina was still advancing. I couldn't afford to stop. Dude, just sprint. Just get the hell out of there. Judge Rockstars. Yeah, thanks, dude. Yeah. Dude, that would be insane, actually. That'd be way cooler than Doki Doki. If, like, you know, as he's just losing his mental state. And he's just kind of, like, he's, like, not sleeping. And he's just imagining, like, the worst. And then imagine, like, when you go to save, it's, like, all messed up. And, like, the text goes backwards and shit. Because he's just, like, completely losing his mind. That'd be sick. Satoshi Kan was worried too. It looked like he was having such a hard time, but I didn't listen. I was so sad. Where did this street connect to? All these twists and turns, up and downs. It was hard to believe, but this was even remotely. It was hard to believe that this was even remotely in the direction towards my house. My sense of direction had long since gone out of the window. I really regretted it when Satoshi Kan transferred out. I thought that if I had listened, he may not have transferred out. I really regretted that. Oh, more art. The road led me deeper into the forest. Wasn't I getting further away from the village the more I ran? I lost more and more of my composure the more I thought about it. Dude, this is like the last place you want to run into and get lost in the middle of like a creepy village. New background. Oh no, I don't know. I thought you were trying to avoid the copy pasta, but it doesn't work like that. But despite this realization, my inner self was still disturbingly calm. You said that so much, you can't predict it like every 5 minutes, dude. And then like when he does die, you're like, hey, I was right. You can still run, yeah. He has a baseball bat, remember? So you can see, I vowed that if I was someone struggling like Satoshi Kan did, I'd save them. I don't want to see anyone transfer out again. Damn it! What does transfer even mean? I won't let you transfer me. I won't end up the same as Satoshi. Come on, Keiichi-kun, talk to me. I'll be able to understand you, Keiichi-kun. I'm your ally. No, you're not. I started wheezing out of breath. My lungs were so hot that they felt like they were going to explode, and my heart was beating as hard as it possibly could, as sweat went down my back. I should have practiced swinging instead of practice running instead of my swing. I couldn't even afford to scoff at that stupid thought. If Keiichi-kun doesn't have anything to worry about, he'll go back to normal. Everyone will be back to being friends, and we can enjoy club activities again. Yeah, no, that time's long gone. I would assume something happens in the next hour and a half at least. Next time we'll team up and beat Mi-chan. Yeah, how much fun would that be? Reina couldn't even imagine how much I had wished I could turn back the clock on these past few days. You could be nice to me again too. I want to go searching for treasure again. This time I'll prepare a nice lunch. Actually, we could go right now. Let's go up to the dam site together. I'll show you the cute thing I just found. I'm sure you'll like it too. I want to know what kind of her laugh is like. I don't know if it's like demonic or like a giggle or like kind of. I don't really know. Like, I'm reading it as if she's like kind of eerily talking quite calmly, but I'm not really sure. My footsteps made pathetic flapping sounds as my legs wobbled and faltered. Hot on my heels, Reina's steps were sharply breaking twigs underfoot. I had to accept it. It's demented. Yeah, probably. I was on the run, being chased by Reina. If she caught me, it was all over. I realised it instinctively. I couldn't even begin to think what the end would entail. Has she even tried to attack him with violence yet? Or was this like this is all him, like just imagining what might happen? Just that if I was caught, it was all over. That's all I knew. It didn't matter how it was going to end. I wouldn't let it end. Not without... Yeah, I mean, I would expect the worst too, but there's not been any, like, evidence of her... I guess, she was smashing, like, windows, but she wasn't, like, smashing people, I don't think. There's no proof of her actually doing anything violent. Not without knowing anything. Not yet. That momentary lapse was all it took. Of all the things that could have happened, my knees buckled underneath me and I crumbled towards the ground. Oh, rest in peace. I tried to stand frantically, urging my legs to respond. I used my bat as a makeshift cane to prop myself up, but Rain was already standing right in front of me. Compared to me, out of breath and utterly exhausted, Rain was so cool and composed that she could have froze the air around her. She was... Iceman! She wasn't... She's like the female Japanese Frozone. She wasn't breathing hard at all. Rather, I couldn't even sense her heart was beating. Are you afraid of something, I wonder? It's not like you to tremble, Keiichi-kun. Her expression looked almost affectionate. Those soulless eyes. That mask of affection. As she is that diminished? I didn't realise there was an O there. Is that diminished? Admonished me for trembling. Raina's hands deftly slipped over her head. Yeah, okay. The blur of arms as they moved made me feel as if I was staring at Jesus Christ. The blur of arms as they moved made me feel as if I was staring at the godliness of the 1,000-armed Buddha. I thought he only had like 8 arms. I thought that's that. Never mind, I'm not going to even bring that up. Then as both of her hands met above her head, the axe that she held came into focus. I stared up at disbelief. It was all I could do. Tell me, what happened to Satoshi? Let me, wait 1 second. Is this it? I feel like that's the edge of the axe. I'm not sure now. Let me have a look at the other one, but off screen. Boop. Okay. So this is the top half of the image, and that's the bottom half. So I guess it was supposed to pan or something, but yeah. Press X to power. It's the it's her axe. It's not like a lumberjack axe. It's like a, yeah, it's kind of like a, it's no, it's not a sword. It's, yeah, I guess it's sort of like a machete. But this is what she calls the axe, and that is how it looks in the anime as well. Reina stayed like that with her axe raised above her head and solemnly opened her mouth. Maybe it's like different in Japan. That's what they call, that's what an axe looks like. It was as if she was expressing a farewell to a friend that she was never she was never to see again. That cruel scenario resided somewhere in her actions. This. I can just show it. That is basically what she has. It's a jelly-filled donut, you uncultured swine. It was as she was expressing a farewell to a friend she was never to see again. That cool scenario resided somewhere in her actions. Yeah, I don't know, it's an axe, just accept it. I told you, Satoshi-kun. Transferred. Out. Enough of that transfer crap. It means demoned away, doesn't it? Doesn't it? You can tell me now, can't you? Who made Satoshi disappear? Was it you, Mion? Or someone in the village? Answer me. I became frantic the more I screamed, but Reina did nothing but maintain the smile frozen on her face. I have no idea what Keiichi-kun is talking about. Then I'll say it in a way so you do. Who is the perpetrator of this chain of mysterious deaths? You seem to be confused, Keiichi-kun. What? There is no human perpetrator. Everything is by Orishiro-sama's will. Isn't Orishiro-sama's curse just superstition? You believed in that too? It's not about believing or not. Orishiro-sama exists. Period. Oh god, it's getting redder and redder. Reina's gaze grew even more gelid. The ferocity of her stare was so intense, not allowing me to question anything. And then it started raining blood. Haha. Also, the background's old one, I think. There's just no way that something like Orishiro-sama could exist. Although this background does make it better, I think. Damn, tribute summons. You don't believe in Orishiro-sama? There's no way I could believe something like that. There's no way it could exist. It exists. Orishiro-sama exists. Keiichi-kun should have felt it personally. I never felt something like that. Keiichi-kun, haven't you felt someone apologizing to you before? Constantly, on top of that? Oh my god. All noise from the outside world appeared. Only Reina's voice resounded, loudly and terribly. You see, until you forgive them, they'll always be with you. At school, at home, at your bedside. I couldn't understand what Reina was saying. It came to me too. Orishiro-sama did. Hey, congrats on level 18, Annex. It came to me too. Orishiro-sama did. That's why I transferred and came back to Hinamizawa. I don't understand. I don't understand. What does transfer even mean? What was Reina saying? Oh my god, that's like the scariest one yet. Jesus Christ. Hasn't Orishiro-sama come to you as well, Keiichi-kun? I'm probably the only one you can confide in. I won't let you transfer out, okay, as well, okay? Reina's demented laughter clanged around inside my head. Was Reina saying Orishiro-sama came to her as well? That's right. Last night I had heard about that when I asked about Reina. Please keep this confidential. Also, part of this may be speculation. Not all of it may be true. Are you still interested? Neither. I'm pretty sure this is what I read last night, I'm guessing. Neither the victims nor the school filed a complaint, so there's no preliminary report. Basically, the police hadn't interfered in this matter, so all of these details are just what I heard from for those involved, meaning it's not credible. He said that, yeah, I did read this. No. Oh. Hold up. No, I didn't read this. I don't think I did I? I would think I would have remembered that, because I said that she didn't earlier. You said there were victims, victims, didn't Reina just break all the windows? No, Reina had attacked 3 boys using a metal bat. 2 of them made it out with only bruises, but the other had been injured so badly that one of his eyes was permanently damaged. They mentioned that earlier. Wouldn't that be considered assault? Shouldn't the police have arrested her? For whatever reason, the victim never pressed charges. There was no report to the police, so they were beaten with a bat and suffered significant injuries. Normally, there would be a criminal investigation, but why didn't they press charges? I tried asking the 3 male victims for their side of the story, but they were all reluctant. It's hard to say, but they were all afraid. Even after she transferred schools. Oishi-san, could you summarize it starting from the beginning? Reina hit people while she broke the windows, or was it she started breaking the windows after she got bored of hitting people? They sounded similar, but their meanings were drastically different. Oh yeah, he was saying, or in his imagination of it, he was like pretending to be like beaten up with a baseball bat or something, and she was getting bored of the sound. On an undisclosed day, Reina Ryugi was conversing with 3 male students, close friends of hers, near the pool storage shed. Oh no, corpse party flashbacks. Who were those 3? I can't reveal their names, but they were close to Reina Ryugu, and it seems they were a group of friends. She was the lone girl in their group. So it wasn't that strange that the 4 of them were together. So what happened? I don't know the reason why. She took the baseball team's bat that was in the pool storage shed and beat the 3 of them down, one after another. Pool party, woo. What? There was no witnesses. This was an account pieced together by the information given at the time of the incident. One day after school, Reina and the 3 male students were at the pool storage shed talking together. They weren't seeking help, rather they usually met up there. It appears it became a heated discussion. At the time, Reina underwent a change. The change was so abrupt that the 3 of them didn't comprehend what was happening. Reina, please. Then, taking the metal bat, she attacked her friends one after the other. Leaving her friends covered in blood with gashes on their head, she made her way towards the school building. Shut up, right? Then she broke the... Bloody fireworks. Then she broke the glass windows one after the other. A few minutes later, a teacher appeared on scene and subdued her. Brave. Jesus Christ. What was this change Reina underwent? What matches up in the statements from the 3 was a sudden change. The point that there was a transformation. I could also recall Reina's transformation. Did this happen after the end of chapter 11? I can't remember what the last thing. Did he hang up the phone? I don't remember ending that phone call. I can't remember. It was at least 24 hours ago. It wasn't even that. It was like 20. It was so different from the usual Reina that I couldn't help but believe it was someone else who looked like Reina. That transformation they're talking about, had it happened before? No, there was nothing like that. As far as I could find out, in her medical history and past, there was nothing like that. Does that happen often, where people change suddenly like Reina did? Of course it does. There are plenty of psychological phenomena that could cause something like this. What am I missing something? Was that from Corpse Party? No? I don't know. I don't know what that's from. Oh god, come on. There we go. Then you're saying that there was a dormant element in Reina that caused that transformation? No, I don't remember. When did that happen? I literally don't remember that at all. I don't remember which one Sayori is. I still don't remember too much about that game. I wiped it from my memory. Then you're saying that there was a dormant element in Reina that caused that transformation. I cannot say that for certain, but according to the statements of her friends, it's hard to believe that she had such a side to her. Kind, caring, and adorable. Even before she transferred her, she was probably pretty popular in school, like she was now. Traumatized here, basically. That girl transforming suddenly and assaulting them with a bat. Who could imagine such a thing? Nobody could have seen it coming. I myself sometimes believe that I was mistaken for thinking that was Reina, even now. Then what happened after that? There was a hospital right across from the school, so the three of them were carried in and treated quickly. What about Reina? What about the police? Oh no. Oh no. What is it? Why wasn't there a criminal investigation? You see, the police can't get involved unless they are called. What? Really? I don't believe that. Okay, that's amazing. Even though one was badly injured with permanent damage, why didn't they file charges? That's what caught my attention as well. Either some threat or pressure was placed on them, or they had a reason they couldn't file charges even if they wanted to. We're talking about you after all. Of course you looked into it, didn't you? Well, yeah, but I told you at the beginning, didn't I? That the victims were all very reluctant to talk. They didn't want to touch on the matter, or rather, they didn't want to be involved. Reluctant to talk, didn't want to touch it, didn't want to be involved. It resembled the villagers here and Oishiro-sama's curse. Did the teachers at the school tell you anything? A school is hallowed ground. You could say that they tend to keep scandals under wraps. I didn't have a search warrant, so I had to tread lightly, you see. Then there was no comment from the school? No. They denied the incident even happened. It's just 3 male students were carried in for blunt force trauma that day. That's all that was there in the hospital records. The victims didn't speak. The school denied it happening. Then you don't know anything at all? Yeah, I know nothing other than the incident itself had taken place. The victims also wished this incident to be kept from the public, so if you and I both forget about it, Maibara-san, then this incident will probably just fade away. For a brief period, we sat in silence. At first glance, it looked like a simple assault case, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. The depths were obscured by roiling waves sinking quietly into the void as if it never existed to begin with. After that, she was suspended by the school, and during that time, she underwent psychiatric counselling. Did you hear anything from that doctor? Again, they were very professional in regards to their ethics, or at least very tight-lipped. Nothing even after you showed them your badge? I was told to get a warrant. The badge itself has no legally binding authority after all. Then how did you know that Reina confessed that it was Oishiro-sama who did it? There was a nurse I asked in that department. She agreed to help me just from showing her my badge. Then what did she say? Turns out that the nurse hadn't heard everything. Apparently all that she remembered was that she overheard from inside the room. The nurse said that at the time Reina Ryugu was very calm and mild-mannered. It was more like she was confessing her sins at church than a counselling session. She spoke with her mother there for some of it, but partway through her mother was asked to leave, so it became a private counselling session between just the doctor and Reina for a while. The part with Oishiro-sama, when did that pop up? Partway through, she screamed the name suddenly. That startled the nurse, and that's why she started listening in. It was Oishiro-sama! Reina suddenly shouted that. I had no idea I had no idea what was said before that, so I had no idea that what the meaning behind it could have been. The doctor calmly and collectedly asked Reina to have a seat. Have a seat over there, please. What is this Oishiro-sama you speak of? Gently, ever so gently. The fundamentals of counseling were believing what you were told. Whoever abandons Hinamizawa will be hunted down by Oishiro-sama. Rip parents. And they finally gotten to me. That's the town you lived in before you moved here, isn't that right, Ryugu-san? I didn't want to move, but because of my mum and dad's circumstances, we had to. But Oishiro-sama wouldn't allow it. Ooh. Ryugu-san must have had lots of friends in Hinamizawa. Even now, you must be missing them dearly. Dearly, don't you think? I want to go back. Back to Hinamizawa. No, it's not that I want to go back. I have to go back. I should have gone back much sooner, but now it's too late. Oishiro-sama has come. Oishiro-sama is the name of the god in Hinamizawa, isn't that right? Everyone knows it's Hinamizawa's guardian deity. And if you ever try abandoning Hinamizawa by leaving, you'll incur his wrath. You had moved quite a while ago, didn't you? Then it was just now that this god had arrived, is what you were saying? You might not believe me, but Oishiro-sama exists. That nurse was then asked by another nurse to do something and left the room. That was all she remembered. That he was Oishiro-sama's doing, right? I do believe that there is that kind of superstition in Hinamizawa, that if you leave the village, then you'll incur Oishiro-sama's wrath. You should be familiar with his part, Marabara-san. I knew very well what those scorned by the villagers incurred. To hinder the dam construction project, they cursed the construction foreman to his death. Then the following year, Satoko's parents, supporters and leading advocates for the dam were cursed to their death. But this was the first time I've heard of the curse incurred by leaving the village. Oh, poor Satoko is no one. Her parents are dead and her brother's just been deemed away. I.e. probably dead. This is my first time hearing that. I can understand outside threats being cursed by the village, but why also villagers who leave? Normally people who leave villages aren't supposed to be cursed, right? I know it's a bit strange to say it, but I could see it as a rule that the people who come in are the ones who would be cursed. Far from Jupiter, far from thunder, far from his thunder. Curses weren't something to chase after people that leave, were they? Oishi-san pondered for a bit over on the other end of the receiver, then began speaking again. Well, I told you of long ago when Hinamizawa was called Onikakushi, didn't I? I recalled hearing that. Long ago, Hinamizawa was feared and respected as the village of ogres. The villagers at the foot of the mountains worshipped the ogres, so Onikakushi was hallowed ground that you could never enter. It came to be said that if you entered carelessly, you were cursed by Oishiro-sama. Those who set foot in Onikakushi, in other words, Hinamizawa, would be cursed. I could understand that. I know that, but for leaving to also be no good, that's also the ogres, you see. They were being strictly watched by Oishiro-sama, so they would not enter into our world. In other words, Oishiro-sama probably restricted interaction between Onikakushi and the rest of the world. I see. I finally understood what sort of thing Oishiro-sama was. So basically, Oishiro-sama is more like a warden than a protectorate deity, I guess. I've never seen that word, but I can guess what it means. Trying to keep this place isolated from the rest of the world. I guess that's how it would seem. I'm sorry, I don't know very much myself. This is mostly what was passed on to me from my grandmother. I could understand it a bit better if it was like that. Those who came to Hinamizawa would be cursed, and those who tried to leave would also be cursed. So because Reina originally lived in Hinamizawa and moved away, she fulfilled the requirements for being cursed. So that means because Reina moved away against its wishes, she was cursed by Oishiro-sama. Is that what it adds up to? It kind of like repeats the same stuff like over and over just to make sure you understand it. Lol. I hate that it's giving people ads. Like, I'm pretty sure there's an option if you want ads, and I'm pretty sure it's only for people who can warrant having ads, like people who have subs and stuff. Have the sub button. In short, that seems to be what it points to, I guess. As a matter of fact, soon afterwards, they did move back to Hinamizawa after all. Those who abandoned Hinamizawa and left were cursed, but then, why only Reina? Shouldn't Reina's parents also have been guilty of the same transgression by moving away and have been cursed? Also, in this day and age in Japan, shouldn't there be a lot of people coming and going? If every single one of them was cursed, then it'd be insane. But in reality, it wasn't that big of a deal at all. At most, there would be one person dying and one disappearing on the day of the Watanagashi. I didn't like saying at most though. Well, anyways, there's a lot I still don't know. Even if it was Oyashiro-sama's curse, it doesn't add up as to why her classmates, the victims who were beaten with a metal bat, wouldn't press charges. You don't think the victims were carrying because they believed that a terrible curse had befallen them, do you? Of course I didn't want to believe it, but more importantly, I had just realised something else. There was another bizarre connection that Reina made between Oyashiro-sama's curse and metal bats. Satoshi fell victim to Oyashiro-sama's curse and went missing. I had recently learned that Satoshi had also become infatuated with the metal bat right before he disappeared, just like me. Then wait. And it's not like he became infatuated, was it? Was he? He just wanted to use it as like protection. Metal bat. I didn't say bay. Piss off. Then Reina as well. She was affected by Oyashiro-sama's curse. She confessed that much to the doctor. And the weapon which she had used at the time of that horrendous act was again a metal bat. And finally me. I had encountered various things that were inexplicable, and now I was holding onto a metal bat. I was shocked when I learned that Satoshi did the same thing. It couldn't be. Had the same thing happened to Reina? But there was one critical difference between her and Satoshi's case. Yeah, Satoshi went missing after falling victim to the curse, but Reina was still here. Both of them had fallen victim to Oyashiro-sama's curse, yet they was met with different endings. And finally me. I couldn't call it a coincidence anymore. Reina, Satoshi, and finally me. Could it be that I was really under Oyashiro-sama's curse right now? No, more importantly than that, what should I do now? Basically everybody who wants to play baseball or carry around a baseball bat is cursed. Satoshi had been demoned away, vanishing without a trace. Reina was fine. Fine's I wouldn't say fine. She's kind of a lunatic. Reina had undergone a change. I could only believe that was something that wasn't Reina residing within her. And here right now, it was standing before me. It's not red anymore. Reina, please tell me what will happen to me. Reina stood imposingly, not answering. Satoshi disappeared, but Reina didn't disappear. Is that him or her? So what will happen to me? Why is he saying Reina? Like, why didn't he just say you? I had never heard such an unpleasant laugh before. It had become akin to the sound of her breathing. Is that akin? I haven't seen that word before. It was no longer a voice or an expression of feeling. Don't worry, I'll save you. Oh, there's the red. Oh god. Reina took one step forward, still holding the axe high above her head. Okay. Now then. One step closer, Reina's face spread out to my vision. Speak. One step closer. Reina's nose was close enough to touch mine and was still pushing closer. Oh, Eskimo kisses. There's something you want to say, isn't there? I'll listen. I'll save you, okay? Speak, okay? Speak, okay? I slumped down, landing squarely on my butt. It wasn't for some pathetic reason. It was all I could do to get as far away from Reina. God, that's a lot of laughing. I had the gut feeling that I couldn't let her laughter end, because when that laughter ended, The moment I picked up on that feeling, my body moved by instinct. I sprang to my feet so fast that I was reading that fast, even I couldn't believe it, and pushed Raina away with both hands. Raina was as light as a feather. Thrown away by the unbalanced weight of the axe, she was sent backwards and as if she had been carried off by the wind. After confirming that out of the corner of my eye, I dashed off at full speed. Dude, just like end her. just kill her with the bat. But it means this, please. You just a pile of sticks. I was the perfect picture of fleeing like a greased pig. Never heard that before. Get away from Rena. Run away. Survive. I couldn't think of anything other than this. While I was running, I remembered I'd been holding onto a bat the entire time. Such a worthless weapon. I couldn't believe I forgot about this weapon at such an important time. Yes, idiot. A faggot of sticks. Isn't that what it's called? I sped even further down the winding path. I didn't even feel myself gasping for breath or my legs getting heavy. My body understood it as well. If I didn't run away from here, I wouldn't live. I could hear the laughter of that simulacrum. What the fuck is that word? Simulacrum. An image or representation of someone or something. I've never seen that before. Oh. Hey, congrats on level 24, dollar. Of Raina coming from behind me. It ran through the trees and in my head and slowly chiseled away at my sanity. The grove of trees thinned out, my field of vision suddenly expanding. Where was this? For a moment I was bewildered by the scenery. I felt I knew, but I couldn't quite remember. I quickly realised it was the damn site. The fact that I dashed madly and ended up in a place like this gave me a bad feeling, like I was following someone's scripted plot. It's quite weird. These are like it's probably some of the last backgrounds we see, but it's the first ones in the folder. It's kind of weird. I had a good view of my surroundings, but I didn't see a single soul here. This was a terrible spot for someone on the run, but there was no better place for an attacker. My heart was already on the verge of bursting. The muscles in my legs were screaming, but I didn't care. If I stopped here, then they might have not been able to scream for much longer. Even still, I glanced back, looking for an excuse to rest. Raina wasn't there. Instead, I saw two villagers walking around. I breathed a sigh of relief that it wasn't Raina, but a third party. Except the voice inside me rang the alarm once more. Villagers walking around weren't suspicious in any of them, weren't suspicious in and of themselves, but it bothered me. They were both wore rough-looking clothes. Empty-handed, they definitely gave the impression that they were just out for a walk. Oh, it's Tomitaki-san and the girl. But at this time of day, two adults wandering around without a purpose, it was enough to raise questions. But more than anything else, those eyes. They weren't chit-chatting while walking. They were both silent, heading forwards, looking in my direction. Oh god, that's so, like, eerie. Yeah. Was I at the end of my rope and had finally started imagining things? I should run away. That was probably the best choice. If they weren't involved, I'd lose them easily by running. If they were part of the group after me, then they would come running after me. Either way, unless I hurried up, Raina would catch up to me. Oh god, she's still the problem. That's right, I was going to run. Deciding that the moment I began to turn... I assume he's just like going to be stuck there, like paralysed in fear. The moment I began to turn tail, both of them rushed towards me as if they knew exactly what I was thinking. Oh god, I was wrong. Somewhere inside me, I had jumped to the conclusion that Raina was the only thing I needed to be afraid of. I made the assumption that I didn't need fear anything else. But right now, I realised just how blatantly wrong I was. Oh no, you have to leave. That sucks. Well, hopefully nothing. Hopefully, you don't go for too long. Suddenly, the story Ushi-san told me about the demons all leaving the village to hunt prey floated through the back of my mind. If you, depending on how long you are, you can still watch it. watch the anime afterwards, hopefully. I could tell that they were both coming after me without even turning around because of their frenetic. I thought they said frantic. Frenetic footsteps. It was frightening, being unable to shake Rain off as she slowly closed in on me. But this didn't even compare. Being pursued with such violent ferocity, this straightforward horror was unparalleled. One of the pursuer's arms grazed my shoulder. Now it wasn't just their frenzied footsteps, but also their distinct sound of their breathing that I could hear. No, I could practically feel them breathing on me. They were already right behind me. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. Swing the bat at him, Jesus Christ. Still running at full tilt, I felt the surrounding area go still. No, it felt like time itself had stopped. That looks like a volcano or something, like a volcano erupting. I turned my head back slightly in that frozen world, realizing how close my pursuers had gotten to me. I couldn't win against the legs of an adult in less than the time it would take me to blink twice. When this frozen time began moving again, they'd be right on top of me, and then don't think about that, Keiichi. First, realize that you won't be able to shake them off like this. If the fact that you can't get away was a given, then you need to make a decision. Go with the right leg or go with the left. You just need to decide which one. Let's go with the left. The moment I decided that, the temporal singularity burst into pieces. Right, left. I swung the bat in a wide arc with my right arm. Using that inertia, I stopped and suddenly spun. I guess that's how you say that. I hadn't seen that word either. Whoa, the two of them were clearly startled. Momentarily losing sight of me, both of their outstretched arms, ready to grab me, instead grasped at empty space. The man on the right, I applaud him for being able to figure it out, spun around to the spot I shouldn't have been and faced me in astonishment. I don't understand that part there. But it was too late. I didn't even need to swing my bat. All I needed to do was extend my arms as I turned around. Oh god. It was by no means a heavy blow, but it seems like it had enough power behind it to knock him off his feet. But just knocking him down wasn't enough to scare him away. He got back up in no time. I don't understand Overwatch memes, if that's an Overwatch character. Both of them took a fighting stance and were ready to face me. This made me certain they weren't just two people out for a walk, they were clearly after me. It felt much easier than dealing with Reina. Just by not recognizing their faces, by not knowing them, it made things easier. I smiled wryly on the inside. What do you want with me? Next one is going to be right in your face, you bastard. It's fine. It was just a bluff. By barking... Was it a bluff? Oh boy. Uncultured man. Sorry. By backing out at them, I was able to fire myself up. They didn't respond. They spread out to either side of me with their unbelievably calm expressions on their faces. One of them would grab onto my bat and the other would hold me down. Was that their plan? Taking on both of them at once would be impossible. Hot sweat poured from every palm. There it is. Sweat counter. Is that number 6 now? 6 since we started counting, and that was like chapter 8 or something. Alright, 1 second. Hello. Then I just have to settle it with the first move. I'd step in and strike the first one down. 1 second. Sorry. Jesus fucking Christ, sorry about that. Dad was like just looking for DVDs for like 5 minutes. Yeah. Now my target down to the man on the right who had already been knocked down before I stopped in and swung with all my might. There was no way for an unarmed person to guard against it. It would cause immense damage. If they blocked it with their arm, their bone would snap like a twig. If they turned their back to it, it was possible that the blow would travel all the way to their vital organs. That's gross. It looked like he was aware of this. He pushed farther through the kill zone between us and delivered a fist right into my gut. Not good. With this distance, in this position, and in this state, there was no way for me to dodge it. Did he? He's like, Reina's been like the quote-unquote enemy the whole time, and now he's just getting like beaten up by like 2 randomers. The world flipped upside down, and I understood that I was being tossed around like a rag doll. I landed on the soft earth without a sound, feeling this grainy soil press against my face. It didn't hurt at all, but the moment I thought that, I suddenly felt pain coming from the abrasions on my skin, as well as the contents of my stomach being forced upwards, flooding my mouth with a bitter sensation. I knew very well that I didn't have the time to relish this experience. I stood up quickly as I could, but at that moment the other man was already barreling towards me. Unable to comprehend calmly that I simply couldn't dodge it made it all the more upsetting. After ploughing into my stomach full first, once again, my assailant twisted around behind me and locked his thick arm around my neck. My throat felt like I was being crushed by his immense strength. I couldn't even contemplate that I was being strangled or that I was about to go unconscious. Speaking of... Yeah, I gathered that's what happened. My vision simply darkened and a silent whining noise began playing deep inside my mind. It took everything I had to keep myself from blacking out. While this was happening, the other man was more likely standing in front of me. I wasn't able to open my eyes, but I could feel that he was there. There was nothing I could do now. Unable to shake this arm off me, I couldn't run, I couldn't fight back. Dire straits. Isn't that like a band from like the 80s or something? I couldn't even come up the phrase that adequately described my situation. I feel like there's a with missing there. I don't know. The end. Oh, never mind. What? Oh no. Oh god, I thought it crashed. Oh, Jesus. Jesus Christ, I thought it crashed. I couldn't like open the menu or anything. The smell of the bed and pillows, I knew them well. Was this my room? Normally there wouldn't be anyone in my room besides me, but their presence made me spring wide awake. When I did that, pain shot throughout my entire body. Oh god. Feeling alright? I think you'd better just lie down for a bit. Why was Reina in my room? Blood began to surge through my muscles and my capillaries. But Reina's smile belonged to the Reina I knew well. I knew I shouldn't let myself... I feel like you should know both of them just as equally now, like the crazy one and the normal one. I knew I shouldn't let myself feel this way, but I relaxed thinking that this version of Reina was safe. Why am I... Don't you remember? Alright, ask me. Why am I... Don't you remember? After losing consciousness, nothing at all. My body had become more lethargic than I could ever have imagined. I guess that would be expected outcome after exerting everything I had back there. I tried to at least clear my head, but I just couldn't shake this sluggish feeling out of my mind. I called the doctor. He should be here soon. I think you'd better just lie down until then. I wasn't injured seriously enough to merit calling a doctor, but knowing that someone impartial was coming was slightly reassuring. Why am I here? He's asking the real questions. I'm sure I was at the damn site. That's what I want to know. What happened? When I got there, Keijiko was already passed out. That's why I want. That's why I'm the one who wants to know. I was attacked by two weirdos. As I talked about it, I finally remembered what happened right before I passed out. Recalling that memory and the terror that went along with it caused the fogginess around my head to clear right up. Let's forget about those two for now. I didn't expect Raina to be nursing me. I thought Raina was trying to kill me. She would have had the perfect chance while I was unconscious. Fucking words. How did she get into how are his parents not home? Yeah, he either had keys or maybe he left it. No, he made sure to lock up, didn't he? Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a bit like, why the hell am I here? Why the hell are you here? How did I get back home? Kind of thing. I think it's supposed to be like such a sudden change. You're like, wait, what? Not only did she not kill me, she had nursed me back to health. Amazing you could drag me all the way here. Wasn't I heavy? Looking at Raina's delicate frame, it was hard to believe that she had not only got me back home, but even dragged me all the way up to the second floor. Did she have some help? Don't you remember, Keiichi-kun? Raina appeared a bit surprised, but still kept her smile. I only propped you up on my shoulders. You said you could walk on your own and that you were fine. You don't remember? I didn't remember. My memories was fuzzy after the point where I lost consciousness. What about those two? Huh? When you got there, Raina, the ones who with me, or rather those two guys, there wasn't anyone. She said it bluntly. The way she stated it felt slightly unpleasant. I was just too timid at that time. I might have been able to force answers out of Raina, but if I did that, then this kind Raina might transform into the scary Raina who I didn't know. Fearing that, I didn't press any further. Think about it, it was the obvious choice. If both of those men were there, I don't think Raina would even have stood a chance, even though she had an axe. I couldn't find a way to explain it unless I was gonna say, I was kind of, unless like they just escaped, I was thinking like maybe he's like so delusional he thinks he's just fighting imaginary people. Yeah, whatever, I don't care. It's an axe in this game, therefore a mash axe. There we go. I couldn't find a way to explain it unless I had assumed she brought me here after those two were already gone. Raina was still smiling. Her eyes sparkled warmly. Yet, I felt like I was hallucinating when I saw something akin to a shadow slowly creeping across her face. That small omen sent shivers down my spine. Please no. While Raina was still Raina, I needed to make contact. I needed to contact Oishi-san. Raina stopped me while I tried to get out of bed. She said it would aggravate my wounds, so I should sleep. Oh, if he has wounds, then I guess not. Link sete. Axete. I'd like to go to the bathroom though. Sorry. Raina couldn't say anything else. Murdered in the bathroom. He's gonna hang himself. While Raina stayed in the room, I quickly went downstairs to get the went downstairs to get the phone receiver in the living room. While I approached the front door, the doorbell rang. Ding dong. It must have been the doctor Raina had called, or it was Mion with more mochi. Oh god, it was strange for a patient to welcome in the doctor who was making a house call, but it would be incredibly reassuring to have him here for the considerable time it would take Oishi-san to get here. Okay, I completely when they said I needed to contact Oishi-san, I read that as Orishiro-sama, so it's like he wants to make contact with like the demon before Reina, like it affected Reina or whatever. It took control of Reina. I completely misread that. Oh Jesus Christ. Okay, I understand it. Fine. Whatever. I carelessly opened the door with that simple assumption and regretted it almost immediately. It was Mion! Oh god! Just pissed in the bucket in front of me. And then Mion? Oh, you look just fine. I heard you collapsed, so I came to check up on you. How did you know I collapsed? I heard from Reina over the phone. Do I need any reason other than that? I understood why she would call a doctor, but why me on too? Reina was descending the stairs behind me. Yeah, it's not like, I don't know. I wouldn't say that's really something you would actively say to someone that isn't like a close family. Like if you unless you're they're close to you, then you are, I guess. Uh, Reina, doesn't Kei-chan look pretty alright? She made me worry for nothing. That's true, maybe I worried for nothing as well. They both began laughing. It appeared to be cheerful laughter, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was a darkness looming over them. Whoa, what's up with the shoe rack? How did it get like this? The shoe rack I'd smashed to pieces had been like that since yesterday. I fell, you see. The worst excuse in the book. And the bat I was holding at the time slammed into it. This is what happens when you swing around something you're not used to handling. I kept... oh boy. That could be interpreted differently. I kept the fact that it was none of her business to myself. But leaving it like this will really startle your parents when they get home. I'll fix it up for you later. Oh man, she's like a carpenter as well. Gee, Reina's the best. She's a nurse and a carpenter. Now, come on, Kei-chan. The terminally ill need their rest. Oh god. Come back to bed, back in bed. Both of them urged me upstairs. I had no chance to call Rishi-san. You're stuck with them now. I was pushed into my bed. And is this was an arrogate all along. It just ends with a threesome. As it was the first time Mion had been in my room, she began searching around intently. Oh no, the note behind the clock, it's still there. She fiddled around my room and was scolded by Reina. You can't imagine how it went. It was uncomfortably having my room poked around, but the conversation was being so benign that it was heartwarming. During that innocent conversation, Mion had said something as though it was perfectly ordinary. Reina, did you call the manager? Yep, right after I called Mi-chan. He said he'd be right over. Manager? That out-of-place word gave me a bad feeling. Yeah, what manager? Looking for toys. Reina called a doctor, then called Mion, and after that she called a manager. Dude, she's racking up my phone bill like hell. What the hell, dude? Who was this manager? It's Mika-chan. Since Reina Mion's conversation was so peaceful, it only felt slightly odd. What are you two talking about? Who's this manager? Haha, didn't you know, Kei-chan? We mean the manager when we say manager. Like the director of a movie? Or like a foreman of a construction site? What the fuck? What the fuck? I dug through all my memories for a manager who might have had business with me. Only one thing came to mind. What, like Uihi? What Reina had just said, the construction site foreman. The very first victim of the first incident, the dismemberment at the damn construction site, the foreman. But that was strange. He was supposed to be dead. There's no way they could call him. I don't understand what you guys are talking about. What does that manager have to do with me? You said he was coming. Did you mean to my house? I asked one obvious question after another, but all the two did was smile coolly at each other. This is just eerie. There was a huge difference between how the two of them appeared, because this is like, I don't remember this, so this is like new to me as well. How the two of them appeared and how my suspicions were playing out. Slowly, I felt discomfort and panic welling up inside me. I couldn't understand what Reina and Mion were talking about. Kei-chan, you've gotten into baseball lately, haven't you? Pretty sure the manager will be happy to hear that. This is really fucking eerie. So who is this manager? Ha, the manager is the manager. Ha 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 ha. So who is this manager? Oh god. Reina and Mion looked at each other and laughed haughtily. That disturbing cackle unpleasantly resounded around me. That laugh, long enough to be unsettling, ended abruptly. Oh yeah, we should finish up before the manager comes. You remember, don't you, Kei-chan? Her face was laughing, but Mion's eyes told a different story. Remember what? Kei-chan, had he forgotten, I wonder? About the penalty? Oh my fuck. What? About the penalty? Did you really forget? The homework with the mochi? Oh fuck. The homework where you're supposed to guess which one Reina made. You forgot about that homework, didn't you? I certainly did have that homework, but I had thrown away the rest of the mochi after I found this bloody sewing needle. That, I guess, is a death. Number 6. So I wasn't able to answer which one Reina made. The penalty for that? Why now? That sound. No doubt my question was written all over my face. The answer to my question was that dry laughter. I could no longer make heads or tails of anything. I began to think that this entire day was somehow insane, strange, incomprehensible. Being chased by Reina, attacked by strange men, the penalty Mion and Reina were talking about. What were these two laughing at, dude? Imagine, like, only one, dude. It's been at least like 10 since the start. It didn't take that long for me to realise I had been dragged into an abnormal situation. Have you just realised that? As soon as Reina's there, you were like, oh shit, let's get out of here. I'm waiting for the eyes to go like evil and Jesus. Who were these two? Who were these people? Who were these doppelgangers of Reina and Mion? Oh, there it is. We'll start counting in the next game. Reina had gotten behind me at some point. Why was she pinning my arms behind my back? What are you doing? Don't move. This is your penalty. Holy shit. My body was already very sluggish, and Reina pinning my arms made it that much harder to move. I seriously tried to struggle, but she wouldn't even budge. My panic began to well up, and I realised that this was well beyond the realm of jokes and pleasantries. This freakishly monstrous strength, it would have been impossible for the Reina that I knew. Then these thin, frail arms grasping me firmly. Whose arms were they? Kei-chan, no struggling. Club rules, there are no exceptions. You can't fight against the penalty. Jesus Christ. Mion, know that thing that looked like Mion spoke to me like how Mion would speak to me. But I was certain that this was not Mion. Someone who wasn't Mion, someone who was just pretending to be her. Need to finish this up before the manager comes. Mion finished. Oh, fucking hell. Mion fished into her pockets and pulled out something bizarre. Please. Please, no. I could tell what it was just by looking, but for such a thing to be in her pocket, my mind wouldn't accept it. Please, no. What is that? It was a small syringe. Oh, okay, it wasn't what I thought it was. Shut up, right? Stop ruining the moment. God. It was a small, clear syringe, like what a doctor would use when you went to him when you were sick. No, a syringe. Reina held me even tighter, and I could hear that clattering laughter that no longer sounded like laughter blaring into my ear. Yeah. I was expecting something different, but don't worry. Just forget I said that. That eerie laughter, it wasn't something that the Reina I could ever produce from her own throat. This thing was pretending to be Reina. Was this their real laugh? Unable to defend. This makes sense now. It's the drug that makes you. It was. That was the part like you missed the very start of, I think. But yeah. I don't think they didn't specifically say syringe, but it kind of no, they were talking about it. Oh my god, every day. They were talking about it when Keiichi and Uishi was in the diner. They were talking about it. He was at. Oh no, Maybe they didn't. Maybe it was just a tip. I know Ishi-san was there. Whatever. I don't think they specifically mentioned a syringe though, but it's kind of yeah. But it is probably a safe assumption. And able to defend myself, the syringe Mion was holding drew closer, and that needle tip was waved in front of my face countless times. Don't worry, don't worry. It won't hurt, it won't hurt. What are you planning on doing? What kind of sick joke is this? What are you saying, Kei-chan? You know exactly what's going on, don't you? About what? I don't understand any of this at all. I know you know. No use playing the fool this late in the game. Stop talking nonsense to try and confuse me. I don't think you're talking your way out of this one, mate. You're going to have done to you what happened to Tomitaki-san. Jesus Christ. Oh, there she is. Hi, Mion. What? The same as Tomitaki-san. It's like... it kind of, after like that chapter, they kind of like completely... like forgot about it, or you kind of like, it was really big for like one chapter and then it kind of went into a different direction and you like kind of, I don't know, I remembered it like just like a few minutes ago, but it's kind of something that you kept at the back of your mind and didn't really like think too much about. I didn't really understand what she meant. What did that have to do with this syringe? You're playing dumb, Keiichi. You should know, you should have realized it by now. Reina whispered into my ear, laughing as to admonish me. But even the way she spoke was repulsive beyond compare. Playing dumb? Me? About what? What do you mean? The same as Tomitaki-san? Everyone thought at first that it was a hit and run, except when the officer got closer to check as if he was still alive, he still noticed it wasn't a normal situation. His throat was scratched out. From a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails, as in fingernails, with those gouged through? That's right. Tomitaki-san had clawed out his own throat with his own nails and died. There's no way someone could die like that. So then, for that to happen, we went through drugs. We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of that nature was detected. That's right. The police didn't find any drugs in Tomitaki-san's system. The police told me they didn't find any drugs in Tomitaki-san's body. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. That's like, I don't even know. It's like the penguins laugh or something. I don't know. The two of them laughed together with that sickening laughter. Of course they'd laughed. To assume that such a medicine didn't exist just because the police didn't know about it, it was completely foolish. Meaning the drug that caused Tomitaki-san to die in such a bizarre manner did exist. If Mion injected this into me, then that would probably be all the proof I needed. That would basically mean I'd end up the same as Tomitaki-san, because become hysterical, scratching at my own throat in my last moments, then die. For such an outrageous drug to exist, for Mion to be holding it, and then I was about to be injected with it. At that moment, I did not feel there was any need whatsoever to question it. But what kind of idiot, when he's trying to dodge a ball flying straight for his face, had time to think of a reason as to why it's flying at him? Yeah, that's true. Just give up. Alright then. Mion's actions lacked any gravitas? No. I assume, does that mean like reason? Actions lacked any? Or like, not be, I know the word I'm thinking of. Dignity, yeah, that's the one. No, dignity, seriousness, oh wait. Or solemnity, I can't read that word. Oh man. It lacks no seriousness, okay. And that made it even more terrifying. So she's like doing it as a joke, okay. Or she's playing it off as like it's a joke, I guess. There was none of the ceremony like when someone is sentenced to death. There was no hesitation at all, as if she were brushing her teeth. Mion reached out with one hand and grabbed onto my chest. Inverted. It felt like electricity had run through the back of my head and the entire world had gone dark. Did I stand up too fast? Or did someone hit me really hard in the back of the head? Having lost my sense of balance, I was assaulted by a wave of dizziness. It's like an air raid siren. Woo. I was like, please don't end that. I'm so worried for a second. Why? Why what? Why they're poisoning him or whatever, injecting him. I squatted down for a bit, and when I came back to my senses, my entire room had changed drastically. It had all got inverted. Then numbness in my head was gone, and slowly I could tell blood was flowing to my extremities again. Yeah, like I said this the other day. The first 4 chapters, like the first 4 games, are question arcs, and then the second 4 are answer question. Yeah, first 4 question, the second 4 answer. So there's gonna be stuff that happens, and you're like, wait, what? And it's kind of like unanswered, and then you'll find out later. Basically, it's because there's a lot of stuff that happened in this that they went into a lot of detail with, and then kind of left, like the almost like the Tomotaki-san incident. It kind of all became irrelevant, like in the next chapter. How long had I been squatting here? How many minutes, or has it been hours? It was almost as if the hands on the clock had stopped moving the entire time my eyes were closed. That's how little time passed. Yeah. No, it's fine. It's not like that's how it's designed. It's not like poor writing or anything. Really, the air in the room wasn't filled with that madness from before. Only a dull silence. Reina wasn't there pinning my arms, and Mion wasn't there about to inject me with a needle. No way. Could it be? All of it? Was it a hallucination? I think you'd wish it was a hallucination. There was no other presence in the room beside my own. And then I had a little itch on my neck. It was the weirdest experience I've ever had. I was certainly with Reina and Mion. I doubted my sanity for a moment, but I was also seized with some sort of comfort. Yeah, he's doubting his sanity, not like the last week when he's been just smashing things out of thinking people were breathing behind him and all that shit. About to is a understatement. I guess that terrible ordeal was a hallucination. Neither Reina nor Mion, they wouldn't ever do something so terrible. No, of course not. They're not completely insane. My head grew hot. I could tell my emotions were welling up. Why? That wasn't a reason to cry. Why? It was sorrow. Why was I sad? I didn't understand. I don't understand. Kind to everyone, not discriminating against age or gender. Mion. That Mion was sprawled by the window in an unnatural pose. Blood stained her a deep red from her head down to her chest. The bright crimson smeared on the walls. That splattered had undoubtedly come from Mion. She always had that bright smile and was kind to me from the day I transferred. Reina. That same Reina was slumped at my feet and was making the same pool of blood as Mion. I couldn't comprehend what had happened. Did someone come to save me? Then they beat these two down with this metal bat? I had finally noticed the weight in my right hand. How long had it been there? It was Satoshi's metal bat. It was carved in a deep red. There was no doubt that this was the weapon used to mutilate both of them. And I was holding that weapon. I was the only person in the house. Looking at this objectively, I couldn't think of anyone other than myself who could have done it. I did this? That's right, Keiichi Maibara. Of course I did it. I told myself gently, as if coaxing myself. Hate me? There is no reason for you to remember, nor is there any reason to need to regret it. Eat or be eaten. You get that, don't you? But the blood, the blood, there's so much. Neither Reina nor Mion had moved an inch. It wasn't just a split forehead and a trickle of blood. Nothing that simple. The entire room was splattered with red, and that told me it didn't end with just 2 or 3 strikes. Were they dead? Both of them. Wait, one thing I'm like slightly worried about. When he woke up, he was like, "There's no presence in the room," but she was like lying on his foot or whatever. Or did he mean like there was no like living presence? I assume that meant there was nobody in the room, and he's like, "Oh wait, no, there's 2 dead bodies in the room. How did I miss those?" The depths of my mind were calm, but on the surface I was panicking and agitated. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. What happened to your usual calm self? Yes, because he's been calm the entire time. Come on now. Do like you always do. Throw your head back and take a deep breath. Come on. Once, twice. Breathe deeply. Calm down. Calm down. I chanted that over and over in my head and relaxed. I wish they spruced up the background a bit with some blood splatters on the wall. It's a bit like, I don't know, disappointing. Carla came back to my vision and smells reinfused the air. I would like to think they done it up a bit for the other games, but I'm sure it's exactly the same. At the same time, I remembered what happened when I blacked out. How can you remember something when you're blacked out? What? Oh god. Reina and Mion had attacked me. They were about to inject me with whatever caused the same symptoms as Tomitaki-san. But right before that happened, I fought back, even though he said they had like strength that was like inhuman and he couldn't escape the grasp. I twisted my whole body and threw Reina as she was pinning my arms. Then I followed through with, yeah, he just hulked out, I guess. Then I followed through with my spin and rammed my foot as hard as I could into Mion's torso. It was soft. Reina tried jumping on me, so I tackled her as hard as I could and slammed her against the wall. I didn't let that brief moment of having them off balance slip by. Satoshi's bat was left carelessly by the side of my desk. It's Hulk Hogan. At that moment, everything went pitch black. There was nothing recorded past this point in the videotape of my mind. No, that wasn't right. It wasn't that there was nothing recorded. It was recorded just fine. Just the other me inside myself had told me to look and had turned off the TV. Oh, not to look and turn off the TV. Just because the screen had gone black and I couldn't see it, it didn't mean that the videotape within me hadn't recorded it. The TV was just off. The video was still playing. I quite like this analogy. The tape within me creaked along, still playing. On the other end of that pitch black screen, that horrifying video was still playing. Do you remember the start of the game? I think that's what that was. Compared to this though, the scene right before my eyes was still so difficult to take in. There was blood splattered everywhere on the walls, the 2 of them in these unnatural poses. Not a sign of movement from them. You don't remember? I thought you, There wasn't? No, alright. I thought it was. Not a sign of movement from there. I couldn't even tell if they were breathing. No matter what the circumstances were. Oh, did it? Oh, okay, never mind. My friends, Because I watched the start of the first episode, and I don't think it was an axe. I think it was a baseball bat. We'll soon find out. I assume you guys are up for watch. Again, I don't know how long this is gonna last, but hopefully you guys are up for watching the rest of or the episodes for it. No matter what the circumstances were, my friends, these girls, I had attacked them. I may have even killed them. I would assume so if there was like just magnitudes of blood everywhere. But if I hadn't done this, I would have been the one done for. Balancing that out on an imaginary scale, it felt odd that I even feel bad about it. No, don't do what? What, don't watch it today? Or what? Even if it was a bit excessive, this was justifiable self-defense. The proof was all here. Two of them collapsed here, and Mion's syringe. Mion's syringe, filled with some unknown drug, would certainly solve the mystery surrounding the incident with Tomotaki-san. From the fact that both of these two were involved, they'd be able to pick out the criminals one after the other. Still, I might be suspected for this. Just might be. But that was just fine. Anyway, now this should be a police affair. This wouldn't fade into the darkness like Reina's past incidents. As long as the police were involved, that should bring this to a close. They'd probably revisit their investigation on the chain of incidents. Uishi-san would definitely get to the bottom of it. What did you mean by don't do that? And when did you want to take a break? What, like after this is finished, or now, or what? Stop being so vague. Meaning, my wish of not wanting to die. I wanted to know the truth that would be fulfilled in its most basic form. It was all a matter of time now. Oh, okay. Okay. No, I'm not going to speedrun it, for God's sake. It was all a matter of time now. The doctor, I thought I said Dr. Rayner. The Dr. Rayner called it should be getting here soon. I'll confess everything to him. Yeah, that seems like a great idea. I need to contact Rishi-san. At that moment, I remembered. Besides the doctor, a manager had been called. It was easy to imagine that there was someone deeply involved with the incidents, judging from Reina and Mion's conversation. The ache in my chest, caused by the gruesome deed I'd done, dissipated rapidly. It was not over yet. This place was no longer safe. It was never safe to begin with. Have you just realised this? Stay calm, Keiichi Maribara. It's not over yet. I needed to live long enough to tell the police the incident. At that moment, I felt like I heard someone's voice from outside. Since people were speaking, it must mean there was more than one person. Or they're just insane talking to themselves. That seems to happen a lot in this. I moved the curtain ever so slightly and peered outside. It was a bizarre sight. About 4 or 5 grown men were all gathered at the gate. They very much resembled the 2 men who had assaulted me at the dam site today. Those 2 might have even been among them. There was one person there wearing a white coat, but he didn't look like a doctor at all. My gut told me he was in disguise, only posing as a doctor. That guy would probably ring the bell and get me to open the front door. Pretended to be a doctor to get me to open the door, and then the rest of them would all rush in at once. At that moment, I saw the car. They're not doing a very good job at hiding, if that was their intention. At that moment, I saw the car parked behind the men, and my heart nearly skipped a beat. The white van. Oh, the one that tried to run him over. No mistaking it, that van, the one that had tried to run me down. The man in the white coat entered the gate and headed towards the front door. The rest of the men hid in the bushes and watched him. I probably couldn't pretend that I wasn't home. Undoubtedly, they'd just break the window and enter. I needed to get out of here somehow. Then use a public phone to contact Uishi-san. Then meet up somewhere. First of all, I need a weapon, then shoes. But before all that, there was one thing that I had to do. I had no intention of dying. I'd live and reveal the truth about this nonsensical curse of Orishira-sama. But what would happen from here on, regardless of how determined I was, may bring about my demise. And that was why. There was one thing more important than getting out of here right now. I need to get that clock out and quickly take down that note hidden behind it. Damn it, the tape was sticking to it fast. What? The tape was sticking to it fast. The Does that mean like fasten rather than like speed? That's a weird sentence. Nah, I didn't get it. I'd be fine if it was torn a little. I opened up the slightly torn note and began writing another passage with the ballpoint pen. If I wasn't able to inform Uishi-san, then the only thing I could rely on was this note. I never thought a piece of torn college-ruled notebook paper could be this reliable before. I had no time. I'd only write that I knew right now. I needed to leave some sort of information that would lead them to uncover the truth. Reina and Mion are conspirators of the perpetrators. This was an undeniable fact. I still didn't want to believe it, but it was a fact. Anyway, they can't say otherwise because they're dead. Anyway, I'd leave all the information that would help lead them to find the perpetrators. There are 4 or 5 adults, maybe more. They have a white van. This was everything I was able to see from the window. There may be more. Also, there was an unidentified person known as the manager. To begin with, the term manager didn't even mesh with Hinamizawa at all. If they were going to include the managers from the past incidents, then the only one in the construction one is the construction foreman, the victim from the first murder, the very first victim in the chain of incidents, killed in a lynching, his body divided into 6 pieces. His right arm was never discovered. The police should have confirmed that death. But Reina and Mion did both call him a manager. They said manager. They wouldn't use that term to refer to someone who was dead. The police would never even conceive that someone who was deceased could be involved. Could that be some sort of oversight? The KKK. I didn't know, but even if I didn't know, it could be a big hint for Rishi-san. That's right. They needed to start fresh from the first incident. It wasn't just a simple dismemberment, but the start of the string of mysterious deaths that follow. So then, there must be something hidden there. Please reinvestigate the victim from the dismemberment incident. He's alive. His death should have been established after an autopsy. Logically, you would think as much. But was that really the case? Could it have been some sort of ploy that they were able to deceive the police with? It could be just like tabloid bullshit, because he only found out from the dump where he saw the old newspapers, and then he found out from there, didn't he? I shouldn't jump to conclusions, but he still may be alive. I had no time to ponder that right now. Oh yeah, there's still something even more important I needed to write. Tomitaki-san's death was from an unknown drug. That's right, that drug. It was an irreplaceable piece of evidence. No doubt, just by having this, everything would be uncovered. Unless it's total bullshit and it's just like water. I couldn't just leave that vital clue lying on the floor. Let's take it with me. This syringe is proof. Writing that down, I stuck the syringe onto the back of the clock with plenty of tape, so it absolutely would not slip out and fall to the ground firmly. Oh no, not the door again. Remember what I said at the start, like, not too much happens in the house. It's like, at least half of this happens in the house, I swear. It feels like it anyway. The bell rang. They were here. I couldn't write any more, but even still, there was one last thing I had to write. I had no idea why it has become like this. This may be the closest thing to the truth out of everything I wrote on this note. If you are reading this, then I am probably already dead, though you may or may not find my body. If I was going to write out everything that could happen, either dying from the curse or being demoned away, you who are reading this, please uncover the truth. This is my only desire. So in like a week or two, he's like completely, he doesn't really like mind dying as long as the truth of something that he just found out recently is solved. Always uncovered. With this, my last will and testament was complete. It wasn't certain that I was going to die, but it was my final plea. Just in case, I folded the note, stuck it back onto the top of the stuck it back onto the back of the clock, and returned the clock back to its usual place. I couldn't help but pray. Uishi-san, if something happens to me, I leave the rest to you. Imagine if it was like fans of his dad's paintings, and they've like come to the gallery because his house was supposed to be like a gallery or something. or it was going to be in the future, and they're like all just massive fans. After that, I gazed down silently at Reina and Mion. This was probably the last time we'd ever see each other. Reina, Mion. I really had thought all of us were friends, but why did it end up like this? I never had any fun in my previous school. Yes, so 4 of them had. Logically. I never had any fun in my previous school. I only worried about standardized test scores, about if the school I hoped to get into was where I really wanted to go, or a safety net. That was all I talked about. It was a dull life. The people I called friends were also my rivals in studying, in competitions, in personal records and standardized test scores. Everyone here taught me how unhealthy that lifestyle was. This month was really fun. Making a fuss over lunch, making a fuss over the club, making a fuss over the festival. Something hot began dripping from my face. It was uncontrollable too. I thought it was sweat. Damn it. No more sweat counter. I should have had no obligation to shed tears for them, but they wouldn't stop. Even if they were after my life, even if they were trying to kill me, everything that had happened this month, I wouldn't forget it. I guess that's a good enough reasoning for all the bullshit games in the classroom. Even though it's kind of pointless to read, quote unquote, it's kind of like that time spent with them is important now. Or could it be kind of like well, no, I won't even bring it up. Or could it be those happy days were all a facade as well? Was it all a trap meticulously orchestrated up until today to ensnare me? Could it have been that I just arbitrarily assumed that they were my friends? That couldn't have been the case. Both Reina and Mion, they were really my friends. Those happy days. There was nothing fake or unclear about them. I mean, it seemed like they were. It seemed like they were pretty dead. He said like it wasn't just 2 or 3 hits. It was just it kept going because there was just blood splattered all over the room. Something tells you probably wouldn't live through that. Those happy days, there was nothing fake or unclear about them. Someone probably forced them to try to kill me, or their minds were taken over, possessed by the supernatural entity known as Oishiro-sama. This isn't time travel, dude. Regardless, both Reina and Mion, they were the best friends ever. Alright, if you're sure, then I'll agree with you. And when they were coming after me, it wasn't of their own violation. Wait, they weren't the kind of people to sell it off their friends, regardless of whether or not they were forced. There's no way such a thing like being possessed by Oishiro-sama could happen in reality. Then, did the real Reina and Mion come after me? What was I thinking? What a silly, dumb idea. Have beaten down both Reina and Mion. I was still debating if they were the real ones or fakes. There was no real or fake, only the reality that was before me. Reina and Mion was sprawled out at my feet. That was the only truth. I was only trying to twist the facts to my benefit that I'd beaten my friends to death. See, they're dead. They're dead. They're dead as dead. No matter how I spun it, it wouldn't change reality. Reina and Mion were both dead. See? They're dead, Dada. Listen, read. It felt like there was a crack in the dam of strange emotions I was holding back. It felt like my calm state, which was nothing more than a bluff, had receded, and in that opening, insanity was leaking out. Okay, I'm sorry. I killed them. Reina and Mion. I killed them. The doorbell rang again. The unrelenting echo pulled me back into a state of composure once again. Dude, I said it's not time travel. I didn't have a moment to spare. That would be like a really Oh, you mean like that? Okay. I didn't have a moment to spare. Quickly, yeah, but there's not like 2 of him. Unless this is like really in depth. Like they haven't even mentioned that scenario up until like 15 hours in or whatever. I didn't have a moment to spare. Quickly, I needed to get away. That'd be like a massive genre twist, I guess. No. What's the word I'm looking at? Genre shift, that's it. I didn't want to die. I would uncover everything after that. The identity of who... to be fair, this is like... this is probably like... barely 10% of the whole things. And there was... And like... You can have a bamboozle more than like 10% in. Like Madoka Magica. I think that was like episode 3 or something. And that was... What's that? 25% in? And it's just like... It seems normal. He's tripping balls. Yeah, he did actually get injected with that, but it was just acid. I wouldn't cover everything after that. The identity of whoever or whatever had pushed me this far, even if I had to drink mud and eat grass. Ew. Ew. I would survive. I would survive. I would definitely survive. I killed Reina for that very reason. I also killed Mion. I went that far just to keep living, so I can't die. For my sake and for the sake of the late Reina and Mion, I have to survive. No, I don't watch it. I don't think it's very good. A lot of people like it, but... That sounds like Dead Man Wonderland. That's the thing that happens in Dead Man Wonderland. They die if they don't have these candies. That's the supernatural prison one. If you've seen that. I don't think you have. I'm not sure. Oh. Oh, why do you have to leave in 7 minutes? Yeah, Dead Man Wonderland's pretty good. I ran towards the door and grabbed my shoes. The doorbell rang again, as if to urge me on. Oh, really? I thought it was alright. It wasn't like amazing, but it was quite entertaining. Really? Ah, poor. I ran towards the door and grabbed my shoes. The doorbell rang again, as if to urge me on. Began this single solitary door. They were there. Keeping quiet, I headed towards the kitchen. Headed towards the back door. Before opening the back door, I put my ear to it and checked for people outside. No one. After I put on my shoes, I opened the door slowly so as not to make a sound. There he is, the back door! A piercing voice echoed out. So, how long have you got to leave for, Dada? Is it like short enough to just take like a little break, or have you got to like actually go? Because I don't really want you both to miss like the end. That like sounds shitty. I want to say it's close to being finished, but I honestly have no idea. Oh, ah, shit, that's kind of annoying. Oh, why didn't you say that yesterday? I could have started earlier. That voice stabbed through me, setting my hair on end. I had to run. Get out of here, Keiji. One after the other, I felt stuff like rationale and intelligence, those things you use when you have time to spare, spill out of me. I didn't feel any pain for the branches scratching my arms and forehead. My autonomously pulsing heart also felt neither fatigue nor pain. My entire being just wished to live. Okay, you're watching like your phone or something. There was nothing else it desired. It probably had no complaints whatsoever, so of course I wouldn't feel fatigue. I just ran, just recklessly running in the direction I was already heading. Even if nobody was chasing after me, I'd still be running like this. There wasn't a thought in my mind about where I was headed. Turning around, I felt a presence right next to me. That presence was without a doubt chasing me like my shadow. If I took even one misstep, I would be devoured. That's what I thought. So I didn't turn around. I didn't stop. I ran at full speed. That was the chirping of the Higurashi telling me it was evening, trying to tell me something, and that I finally heard it, the wailing cry of the victims who didn't make it. Would I be joining them? It makes a lot more sense for the title of the game, when they cry, if they was just referring to who've died. Only the Higurashi knew. They knew everything. They definitely knew. So I ran towards where I could hear more of the Higurashi's chirps. But the farther I ran, the farther away their chirping became. I couldn't get near them. Why are you all running away? Was it my fault? Was I the one to blame? Then I'll apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Etc. Oh my god. Oh shit. I missed one. No. No! No! God damn it. What, did you look it up? Or are you just guessing? I felt that only the Higurashi knew. Okay, that's what I missed. Oh, okay. I don't really want to stop for an hour just for 20 minutes. How about you watch the VOD after or something? The smoking room is filled with a cloud of cigarette smoke. I'm 2 hours and 20 minutes in, by the way. Not 1 hour 20, 2 hours and 20. The expensive smoke filter gave off some crackling electric noise, but it didn't seem like it was doing anything at all. Why do smokers have to be shoved so far down this corridor when the sun didn't even reach? I've recalled hearing that the tax revenue from tobacco was about 1/10 of the municipality's revenue. Yeah, I'm slow at reading. I mean, I'm reading kind of normal speed. I don't think I'm reading slow as such, but I am taking breaks to talk like this. So, we were the most heavily taxed members of this municipality, so I really wish they'd show us a little more respect. Why would you discard the 5 manzu there? It's just decreasing your options. One of the younger detectives was having a staring contest with a mahjong magazine called Next Turn. Hey, it's Rishi. You're still in Tenpai if you cut the 5 manzu. If you're betting on AHT, then you shouldn't be going into it with a mangan. I guess these are all mahjong terms? I don't know. Kuma-chan, look at the pond. They all discarded a 5 manzu is a safe tile. You hate it. You'd hate if at endgame someone was sitting on a tenpai on the last turn, wouldn't you? I was gonna skip the vicious filler. Just then I heard a voice coming from down the hall. Are you here, Yuichi-san? You have a call from a civilian. A Minecraft shit. What? Whoa, ain't that something? Well, see you soon. Why can't you call Ron on it? Wait. I thought that was like a guy called Ron, but it's not capital. Why can't you call Ron on it? No, I don't know. Hold on for a second, Oishi-san. The man sitting in the seat Oishi-san was heading towards waved at the telephone receiver. Outside line. Wait, is this still from my perspective? Or is this like a fourth wall kind of thing? Outside line from a payphone, like from someone else's perspective. Oh, why thank you. Sorry to keep you waiting. This is Rishi. Who is it? Ah, Rishi-san. Hello? Oh, no, it isn't. If it isn't Mayabara-san, yeah, it's like a... Yeah, it's like the tip kind of thing. Why, good evening. From the tone Mayabara-kun's voice, I already knew he was in a predicament. So, wait, I'm Uishi now. Okay. This was the first time Mayabara-kun had phoned me, and he was calling from a payphone. Please calm down. Did something happen? His voice was erratic over the line. He had completely lost his sense of composure. After checking that nobody else could hear, and nobody else could hear, I prompted at him in a hushed tone. What happened? Calm down, Maribara-san. I have the local officers head to your location. I get so maybe this will show that this is actually what is happening, rather than from Keiichi's possibly distorted reality or distorted view of things. I can have the local officers head to your location. I'll be there soon too. I think that's possible. His voice was quivering and hoarse. He wasn't surrounded by people even as he was making this call, was he? What? Wait. That line didn't make it seem like... This is like a narrator type thing. That's weird. Maribara-san, you're calling from a payphone right now. Where is that payphone? There were no other sides besides Maribara-san's voice. It had to be a payphone booth. I scratched out a note and thrust it at my colleague sitting across from me. Hinozawa phone booth. He understood quickly and hastily. There's just one phone booth in the whole place. Quickly and hastily started on the internal lines. I guess so, but why would he instantly think he was surrounded? He understood quickly and hastily started on the internal lines. Calm down, Maribara-san. What is your current situation? It usually wasn't a good idea to tell someone panicking to do so, but this was not a usual case. Maribara-san didn't just get in trouble, get away and then call me. He was in the midst of something dangerous right now. But yelling at Maribara-san right now was just would just needlessly cause him to be even more frantic. I guess so. It seemed too much of a sudden conclusion. Maribara-san wasn't just calling to seek help, he was trying to tell us something more than that. And whatever that was, if I didn't get it from his call, I was certain there would never be another chance. My colleague pushed a note in front of me. There's only one phone booth in Hinozawa. A patrol car is on the way. 5 minutes. That's too long. How many officers are in there? 2. Not enough. If it was as I imagined, there was likely quite a few people surrounding Maribara-san. Maybe he knows more than we think he does. 5 minutes was too long. Did you call the officer stationed in Hinozawa? He's scheduled to be on patrol. They're currently out, and it will be impossible to contact them. Goddamn. Kuma-chan, bring the car around. Understood. Hello, Rishi-san? Hello, it's alright. I can hear you loud and clear. That was a pathetic cough, I'm sorry. There was something wrong with Maribara-san. That wasn't a normal coughing sound. Vomiting? Or was it blood? Had he already been attacked? Was he injured? Maribara-san, the police are on their way. Oh yeah, you're right. It must be Rishi. They'll be there in a couple of minutes, so hold on somehow. Just somehow. Can you hear me? Maribara-san, I could hear on the other end of the line that he was having a coughing fit. The worst possible situation popped into my head. Maribara-san, who is the culprit? How many are there? I thought at the first culprit was human. I couldn't tell if that was a cough or vomiting. Are you alright, Maribara-san? I thought that the culprit was a person and not Oishiro-sama's curse. Up until right now, but I guess in the end. It was an intense bout of coughing, then vomiting, but I guess Oishiro-sama does exist. No, he's here. Maribara-san, please, just calm down. I have been thinking it was strange for a while now. It's been following me this whole time. I ran and ran. But it just sticks to me like my shadow. But slowly, so slowly, it's digging itself into my back. Maribara-san, are they right now, perhaps? Right behind you? Behind me. Right behind me. Please, Maribara-san, I can tell you're scared. Please, who is it that's right behind you? I can't just look behind me. If I do, I'll understand that you're scared. But please tell me. You just need to turn around a bit. Who is it? Who is behind you, Maribara-san? Right after I said that, I could hear him vomiting intensely. What followed was a nightmarish sound. Maribara-san, it can be that you're clawing out your own throat. There was no answer, but I could hear something like scratching. Oh dear. There was a bang, as if something was being hit. Mayabara-kun had probably dropped the receiver. I could hear groaning and vomited all over on the other end, and a repeating abnormal noise. Hello? Hello? Mayabara-san? Hello? I knew how far away my room would sound on the other end, but I couldn't help but shout. At that moment, I heard whispering coming from the other end. I couldn't tell what he was saying. From the way he was saying it, he was talking to himself. Or was he talking to someone there? Hello, Mayabara-san? Rather than whispering, it was some kind of mantra he was chanting over and over. I focused my senses trying to pick up on what he was saying. What was he repeating? What exactly? Was he saying, I'm sorry? Suddenly the line went dead. Did he use up his time? Damn payphones. It was because it was a payphone. It was because it cut out so abruptly. The last thing came out so clearly in my mind. Uishi-san, the car is good to go. Uishi-san, I'm sorry. Uishi-san. That's what he was repeating over and over. Yeah, he said, I'm sorry. I had a gut feeling. There was no longer a need to hurry. I could hear the chirp of the Higurashi spilling in from the open window. I should have been able to hear them this entire time. I just wasn't paying any attention. Why did I focus on them all of a sudden? Were they just trying to tell me something? Only the Higurashi knew. That's how I felt. Is that the end? July 1983. In Hinamazawa, a remote village near Shishibone City, there was a murder involving 2 female students. The suspect is Keiichi Maebara. Hey Magish, you missed a lot. Let me just read this because it's auto-scrolling. The suspect called over his 2 female classmates, Reina and Mion, and I missed the rest of it. Wait. To his house and beat them to death with a metal bat. Haha, thanks, Twitch. The scene of the crime was the suspect's room on the 2nd floor of his house. The inside of the room was covered with a significant quantity of splattered blood, and there were signs of a struggle with the victims. In addition to the scene of the crime, the entryway, living room, and kitchen all had traces to struggle. At the entryway, the shoe rack and wall had evidence of being impacted by strong blunt force. It is believed to have been the same bat as the murder weapon. Having no traces of blood, it is believed that the deconstruction occurred before the murders. There is the possibility that the suspect overpowered his victims to keep them from fleeing. In the living room, the rug had been pulled back and then thrown aside. It's hard to believe that this had a connection to the struggle with the victims, and thus the reason for this remains unknown. Dude, this is a police report. They said he's killed them. In the kitchen, the garbage bag was torn apart and its contents were spread out the floor. Garbage was strewn about in the surrounding area, and handbags believed to belong to the suspect were discovered. It is believed that the suspect had, for some reason, taken out the garbage and struck it with his fist. The reason for this remains unknown. In addition, there was a note stuck to the fridge. The words were, "Was there a needle?" was written on it. The meaning behind this remains unclear. Just in case, the garbage was searched, but a needle was never discovered. I'll explain it in a minute if you're still around. Though the garage door was functional, it had been left open ever since the suspect moved in. The garage door was found closed. The suspect's fingerprints were discovered on the garage door. The reason behind this remains unknown. The suspect fled the scene of the crime. However, a patrolling officer, Hinamazawa local PD, found the suspect collapsed in a phone booth. At the time of discovery, the suspect was unconscious in critical condition. He was rushed to the local hospital for treatment, but did not regain consciousness and died 24 hours later. See, that's where he died. The results of the autopsy indicate the immediate cause of death to have been hypothalamic shock. It was determined that the suspect had clawed out his own throat with his fingernails, and the resultant bleeding caused his death. With a similarity to the death of Tomitaki-san the prior week, the police believe there has to be a connection and have opened an investigation. However, due to the wishes of the local authorities, it would be a confidential investigation. Due to the abnormal nature of the death, it was suspected that drugs were involved, but as with Tomitaki-san, no traces were discovered. What prompted all this remains inexplicable. As such, the case being treated as an act committed on impulse. However, with several accounts of the suspect's bizarre behavior leading up to the incident, it is possible that this was premeditated, separable for his group of friends, isolated, inexplicable behavior. I can't read this fast. 7 days before the incident, his classmates actually had positions of what he was saying. 2 days before the incident, the suspect declared his parents the possibility of his death. Due to these circumstances, the police have begun an investigation. Can I like turn off auto for this? This is ridiculous. Oh, what have I done? Afterwards, a note found himself in the suspect's room that he had written himself. Jesus Christ. Maybe being torn out, he's trying to kill us behind the clock. Okay, so he found the note. The contents are as written in the appendix. The police believe it was strongly related to the incident. The police had changed their line of investigation based on the possibility that the suspect was involved in some sort of incident himself. However, no further clues were found, casting doubt on the credibility of the note. Was the crime impulsive or premeditated? With the situation unclear and no further developments, the case has been labelled as unresolved. Feels bad, man. However, the following year, suspicion arose regarding the nature of the note. The note was not written on two halves of B5 paper from 2 separate sheets, but was originally a single sheet of B5 paper. In order to erase several lines from the middle, someone had torn them out. Oh shit. Judging from the size of the letters, the missing section is estimated to be 2 to 3 lines. It's highly probable that the person who eliminated the lines in question is not the suspect. In addition, judging from the traces of large quantities of cellophane tape being stuck to the back of the clock, speculation that something other than a note was stuck here arisen. The person who first discovered the crime was a detective rumoured to have been in connection with the incident, Higurashi. He underwent voluntary questioning but denies involvement in any damages to the note. The suspect's note. I, Keiji Marabara, am in fear for my life. I do not know why they are after my life. The only thing I do know that it has to do with Urashira-sama's curse. Reina and Mion are conspirators of the perpetrators. There are 4 or 5 adults, maybe more. They have a white van. This is all that is on the first sheet. Everything below this has been ripped out. What did he write after that? This is from the second sheet. Everything above this has been ripped out. I have no idea why it has become like this. If you are reading this, then I am probably already dead. Though the only difference may be the presence or lack of a body. You who are reading this, please uncover the truth. That is my only desire. Keiji Maebara. Oh, is that what was... Oh yeah, there should be a syringe taped to the back. Yeah, he clawed his own throat out. I can't remember where you left. So basically so much has happened that it's impossible to like keep you up to date. He died. This is a police report. And that looks... What? Oh, okay. And I think that would be the end. Oh, new chapter unlocked. All cast review session has become available to play it. Select extra on the title menu and play all cast review session. Please uncover the truth. Okay, right, let me read up because I missed a lot of chat. Okay. Migish joined. Now you probably realise nearing the end of this part, he was 100% tripping balls. You are wrong. Well, he might have been, but not in the way of that he was imagining the murder that happened. Isn't this the guy, schoolboy, who plays tag with... Yeah, that was him. They took out the syringe part. He died, or did he? Yes, he died. Right. So that raises more questions. Exactly. That's what this game is about. Right. I think I'll be able to if I can quickly buy the next one and just start it up, I think you'll be even more confused. If I can let me quickly do that. If you just wait a few minutes, as long as PayPal allows me to buy it. Store. If not, then I'll quickly explain it. But I think it would be better if you see it. If it I'm just gonna put on a different overlay just in case I accidentally show something that I don't want to be shown. Add to cart, purchase myself. That's interesting about the syringe part though. I'm really curious about that. Alright, it's gonna take like a minute to download. Oh, let's see what that extra is. Let me change back to overlay. Higurashi. I need to go, you know, I can wait a slight while. This guy, it should be like in the next like minute I can do something. Chapter jump, all cashews. I'm not, if this is like loads of text, I'm not reading it. Oh, thank you for buying Higurashi When They Cry, a visual novel by Rock and Limitation. How was it? If you enjoyed it even a little bit, it would make me happy. Even a little bit of stretching that incredibly dark end and made me angry, you know? Made us angry. Okay. So, somewhat of a prologue to the entire series. Okay, I didn't really know that. How could the prologue have such an incredibly dark ending? Yeah, but doesn't that happen sometimes? The player digging through the story in order to avoid a bad ending is the point of these types of games after all. So this is kind of it. I guess this explains the how this I'm looking forward to the next one. What happens in the next chapter? Right, I don't want to let me I don't want them to say. I don't want them to say. No, you're not saying. Go away. Oh, I didn't save it. Shit. Oh no. Fall forward paint chat. Right, let me quickly open the next one. Boop, 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 boop. When They Cry, number 2, Onikakushi. I'm gonna, if this doesn't show, I was just gonna explain it, but then I'm pretty sure they'll explain it there. Let's see how this starts. Oh my god. It's so small. Oh shit, I don't have the, I need to patch it. There we go. Whoa, spooky. Oh shit, this is gonna be, this is loud, isn't it? Sorry about that. Alright, so yeah, I'll explain it to you a little bit later. Let's see what this is. How is your taste of life in Hinamazawa? A curse or a conspiracy? I believe you have fully enjoyed everything and everyone seeming suspicious. Here at last, it is no surprise attack, but a real direct incident. Please enjoy it. The difficulty is lower than Onikakushi, but it's extremely vicious. That's weird. I don't. It's like it's a game, but it's not. Holy fuck. This part here is weird. It's like broken sentences, broken spaces. I will not quench your thirst for, never mind. This is a work of fiction and yeah, I gotta say that. AD 1983, the early summer of the 58th year of the Showa era. I really wish Dada could stay a few minutes just to see the start of this, because I'm sure he's like confused at what the hell's going on. I don't know if I want to start this now. I'm just gonna hide the screen a second, skip through and see how long of a black screen it is. A phone call. Spoilers. Please skip. Please. I'll just load up the other thing again. I think that'll be better than this. I don't know. I don't know why I'm trying to hide it from you, to be honest, when it's kind of not obvious, but it's trying to tell you. It's just quite interesting that Dad hasn't picked up on it at all. He's usually one step ahead of everything. Hopefully it's saved so I can have the extras. It'd be awkward if it didn't. Okay. Where do you get to? It's supposed to be a prologue to the entire series. How could the prologue have such an incredibly dark ending? Yeah, but doesn't that happen sometimes? The player digging through the story in order to avoid a bad ending is the point of these types of games, after all. It's still just the first chapter. I'm looking forward to the next one. What happens in the next chapter? Reina, do you know? Yeah, they said the next chapter will introduce another aspect of the story. That's a strange way of putting it. What does that mean? In this chapter, they introduced the string of mysterious deaths that were happening in Hinamizawa recently, right? The next chapter will introduce some of the history of Hinamizawa. With one strange event happening after another, I got totally lost. What exactly is Orishiro-sama's curse about? Actually, what is Orishiro-sama to begin with? They didn't explain it that much. Getting hated on by cookies and fans in B-Stream. Well, I haven't heard much about it, but I have kind of a bad feeling about it. It feels like it will be another one of those scary stories where somebody gets cursed again. Tough luck, Kei-chan. What kind of curse is he going to get hit with this time? I think that line enough is kind of explains a lot. However, I am looking forward to seeing what kind of story it's going to be. Sorry for being late, my bad. Hey everybody, good work today. It's the guy that's dead. I guess Mion said as well. Same to you, huh? Where's Kei-chan? Kei-chan is already off reading the script for the next chapter. This is really weird. Oh, you can't even see it. Why didn't you tell me? Oh, why didn't you tell me? Sorry, I didn't mean to have that up. Is it gonna change? There we go. Sorry. No, sorry. It must be hard. You could hear me anyway. I'm just reading the text. It must be hard being the main character. Huh, that's too bad. He could have at least poked in to say hello. It's probably because he doesn't have any character art, so he couldn't poke his head in even if he wanted to. Wow, that's pretty funny. Rika-san, that's what we refer to as a personal problem. In any case, that story really was a lot of trouble, especially for Keiichi-kun and Reina-chan. Trouble? What was the mother of all? That was the mother of all bad ends. I wonder, what was the identity of the thing that attacked Keiichi-kun? My theory is that it was the work of people made to look like a curse. But at the end, Keiichi made that phone call. Yeah, I also thought that call was strange. At that point, Kei-chan should be certain that the culprits were people. That really was a strange phone call. It almost sounded like he was being chased by a ghost or something. Just from that phone call, it really makes me think that it was the work of a curse after all. This is so weird. This is like us having a discussion about like what happened, but the characters themselves are having it. Since we're all here, why don't we all share theories? Let's start with Sonozaki-san. Yeah, it is. I absolutely believe it was people. So I don't So I guess it's like, I don't think it's going to tell you anything you shouldn't already know. It's just like everything from those past 15 hours, they're just kind of summarizing it, and if you kind of like missed anything, they'll just say like, oh yeah, you remember when this happened, kind of thing. I think it was a man-made incident that was just imitating the strange folklore floating around Hinamizawa. Certainly, every year on the day of the festival, for another link in the chain of mysterious deaths to happen certainly is suspicious. That so-called chain of mysterious deaths is definitely somebody trying to reenact the folklore, definitely. I think it was the curse. Look at the scene where Keiichi-san went berserk in the entryway, and the last scene with the phone call. I couldn't come up to the conclusion that the person was a culprit. When you say it that way, it really wasn't the type of scene that would make you think it was the work of an actual person. Yeah, but even then, I still think it was a person who did it. That last scene and the one the entryway, I think it might have been a delusional episode brought about by post-traumatic stress disorder. I wouldn't know what's going on anymore, even if you didn't use such complicated words. Do you use words complicated than anybody? In other words, Keiichi was so scared that he was imagining things. That's what Dad was thinking. Oh yeah, you haven't seen him yet, have you? Yeah, that's Swole Guy. Then, what about the meaning behind that scene? What exactly was that mysterious presence behind Keiichi? A red herring. Red herring. Mi-chan, what do you mean by red herring? Like old man Tomitaki here said, that scene was the result of Kei-chan having a stress-induced delusion from being mentally cornered. To expand on that bit a bit further, it was a ploy to make the player think it was a curse, that's why it was a red herring. Why, when you say it like that, but... well, it just means that there's that possibility. I don't like when it glitches. In that case, the theory that Uichi-san proposed during the story that it was a conspiracy by the villagers was correct. What does the man himself have to say about that? Me? It makes you think, eh? I totally thought that Uichi-san would be behind the people explanation. During the story, I said it was definitely the work of people, but if a person really was to blame, that leaves a lot of loose ends. Like what? Let us hear what Detective Uichi-san's theory is. She's getting cornered by two very big men. First of all, if a human is the culprit, then there has to be a motive. In other words, someone has to gain something from it. I mean, not necessarily, but yeah, usually. So what you mean is, if there was the work of people, there would have to be something gained from causing the chain of mysterious deaths. Exactly. So how long was that in there? That was about 2 hours and 45 minutes. Yeah, that's quite long. And apparently all the other games are even longer than this. I feel that somebody could have benefited from the deaths of people related to the dam's development, but the recent victims weren't related to that at all. First off, who benefits from killing Keiichi-kun? I see. If you say it like that, my case is kind of weak too. Yeah, about that. I mean, none of your money was stolen. There's no way it was human culprits. But that's not everything there is to it, right? Like Mi-chan just said, there might have been some sort of reason for them to reenact the folklore. Exactly. This wasn't a murder where you considered the typical motives. It makes me think that this was most likely some sort of ritualistic murder to reenact the bold, stained history of the village. So I'll ask the question of the hour: who gains from this reenactment? It's not about simple benefit, it's a more psychological reason. I think that maybe this was an act of revenge. Something native to the region. Fate was unable to be fooled this time around. I see. A member of some repressed family looking to air out an old grudge of their ancestors. Something like that. I don't like that. Then what is it? It couldn't be that you're leaning towards the curse explanation, Uichi-san. That's right. The man playing the detective said so. It decided it was a curse. It's like they're acting as if it was all a play, or like a movie, and they're all the actors. but they haven't been told what's happening past their that episode, kind of thing. Reina-san and Sonozaki-san had committed those acts. That would fit the evidence at the most, as much as I hate to say it. Actually, I'm of the same opinion as Uishi-san. I can't come up with any other explanation for the normally kind Reina and Michan to suddenly start acting strange like that. About that, it may sound strange coming from the person herself, but I think that too, that Mion, did it. I don't get what Mi is saying. It's like an explanation. I'd like an explanation. Oh, sorry. In other words, I think this may end up as being a really cruel story. Huh? Wait, Mi-chan, you don't mean... If you follow the trail of evidence to the very end, that's how it would seem. I also have my suspicions. In other words, Reina-san and Sonozaki-san both actually had those personalities to begin with and were merely deceiving Maebara-san. Am I right? I don't like that at all. Wow. This is all the curse's fault. Reina-san and Mion-san and everybody else are all kind, nice people. I think that too. I think that Reina and Mion are really good people at heart. I think that during the story they definitely were possessed by something. I think that too. So Reina also thinks it was a curse. Then let me ask everybody who thinks it was a curse. There has to be a reason for a curse, right? I don't think there would just be something indiscriminately cursing everything. Can someone explain that? A curse is a curse. Human logic won't get us anywhere. Aha, Satoko-chan. A personified deity is in the end nothing more than a creation of people. That's why their method of thinking is also understandable to humans. Just take a look at the Greek pantheon. They cry, get angry, get jealous. Basically, they're just like humans. So what you're saying is that Oishiro-sama is cursing people with some benefit in mind. That's an odd way of putting it, but basically yes. That's why they say, far from Jupiter, far from his thunder. Aha, you do have a point. Basically, it doesn't matter if Oishiro-sama or humans, there has to be a reason. But Rika, what if that reason isn't clear? I don't know. That's right, this is still just a prologue. There's still a lot of stuff that hasn't been revealed yet. Yeah, it's hard to come up with any more theories at this point. I don't like that they're saying prologue. I don't think of it as a prologue. I think of it as an arc. And this is just the first of 8. Prologue makes it seem like it hasn't even started yet, but this was all just like extra. But I'm pretty sure this is like necessary. No, I won't be satisfied until this is all made clear. Mion-san seems rather particular about this as well. Aha, well, we just make the best with what we know. Doesn't this feel interesting, like the club a little bit? Ah, yeah, if you put it that way, it does seem interesting. Well then, let's summarize. Let's see, I think it was a curse. Tomitake-kun thinks it was people, right? Yeah, I'll go with it being people. I also agree with the people explanation. That's not to say I hate such fantastic things like curses, but in this particular case, the connection to a curse is a little weak. It's like they're poking holes in their own story. It's pretty amusing. Two for the people explanation then. Reina-san was on the curse side of things, right? Yep, Satoko-chan and I believe it was a curse, right? Yeah, I think it was a curse. People who say that Reina-san and Mion-san were evil to begin with are more benefited of a curse. Well, I don't want to believe that my own personality was that twisted, but I have to be cool when I'm in club mode. If I base my choice on just emotion, I'll regret it, you know. Well now, it doesn't really matter which side you pick, does it? Huh, Rika-chan hasn't said anything yet. What do you think? I don't think that Oishiro-sama is a bad god. Huh, that's an interesting opinion. I don't want to worship some bad god that just curses people. I like a generous god more than one that curses. That's right, Rika-chan is a shrine maiden. Yep, good opinion. Then what? If Rika-chan doesn't believe that it was Oishiro-sama, then do you think the perpetrators were human after all? We'll just go with that star. It's been a long time since I've seen a star. Well now, that means the votes are split right down the middle. So half of us think it was a curse, half of us think it was people. Reina-chan, just for reference, what did the test players who played the beta version think? Okay, this is getting too far. Yeah, they were a lot more players who believed in the people explanation. CC, right there, our veteran comrades are cool, collected, and very observative. But the beta version only finished part way through the story. That's right, even the people who played the beta might change their minds if they got through to the very end. What should we do then? This means that the opinions are still split. Beta versions in like 2002, I feel like betas are quite a new thing. Maybe it's like a demo disc or something. It's no fun if we don't settle this. We need there to be an odd number of judges. In other words, we need one more opinion. Is it me? Perfect timing. Then why don't we ask Keiichikin himself? Let's call him. Amazing. The opinion of the victim himself is very valuable. Since that's decided, it's time for the phone. Hello, Keiichikin. It's Reina. Wait, what? This is the Arishi's phone. Are you busy with work now? Yeah, really busy. Just when I thought I'd get a break because the chapter's over, it's already time for the next one. How's Kei-chan? Busy? Yeah, he's moping. I can hear you, you know. It must be nice having a wrap-up party. I wanted to go too. This is so strange. You can come if you get some character art for yourself. It's amazing. Rike, that's a secret. Sorry about that, Keiichikin. Anyways, during the current chapter, Keiichikin, didn't you die? We were just talking about who the culprit might be. Basically, we're deadlocked on whether it was people or Oyashiro-sama's curse that killed you. I'm really sorry, even though you're busy reviewing the script, Keiichikin. What do you think it was? That's obvious, isn't it? Which? Isn't it both of them? Targeted by suspicious people from the village and then cursed by some strange Oyashiro-sama on top of that. It's both humans and a curse. Everybody's just picking on me. Oh, poor. So very, very pitiful. Next time, I'll pat you on the head. I'll pat you on the head for you. In the end, the opinions still split, huh? I'll think this over again. We might have missed something. Well then, please look forward to the next release. Watanagashi. Dun dun dun. That was kind of neat. I like that. It was quite strange. It really took you out the moment of the characters. They really felt like actors. I don't know if that was good for like the overall feel of the game, but I think it was good for kind of like going through all your thoughts that you might have like forgot or didn't pick up on. But yeah, did I get all the achievements? I feel like I should have done. What's next? What's next is the next game, but I'm not going to be doing that now. I'll wait for Dada and Alex and the others. I think it's. I don't think it's too late to watch that arc tonight, but obviously we're waiting for the other for Alex and Dada because they were actually following it the whole time. But yeah, basically, I know I covered up the screen, but the next game, it basically starts as kind of the start of the first one. He just wakes up, he gets a phone call, and it's kind of like nothing happened. And that's how this game is planned out, I guess. So it's not chronological at all. He was at the end, yeah. But you missed like 11 chapters. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Dada was like, oh, there's no way he can die. There's no way like the girls die or he dies because, you know, there's like 7 more games. But this answers it, basically. Would have been, but I missed. Yeah. So I was having a Parmo. I don't know what a Parmo is. Yeah, you missed quite a lot. You like missed like, I don't know, you were there for like a few chapters, weren't you? But you missed some of the start and you missed the end. You quite like the end. But damn, someone's not know what is the Parmo? A dish of what? Okay. So yeah, basically this was like, because this chapter was called Onikakushi or something. It kind of, well, it didn't really focus on it that much, but basically that was the word they used for demoning away people. So that was the people that just randomly disappeared, and they didn't really know what happened to them. And then the next one is Watanagashi, which is the cotton drifting festival. So it will focus around that, and they said the history of the village. So it will kind of, I'm pretty sure it kind of like starts off the same, and then weird shit starts happening, but in a slightly different way, and then it kind of repeats. The Parmo is a breaded cutlet dish originated in Middlesbrough and a popular item in the northeast. Yeah, I don't live in the northeast.